Chapter 100 years ago the zombie virus broke out, and the doomsday descended. 70% of humans turned into zombies, and humans were close to extinction. As doomsday descended, the special genes of humans were starting to awaken. Humans and zombies fought a great war, but unfortunately there were too many zombies, so humans had to build base cities to protect their own safety. Are there zombies in this hospital? Yili swallowed. He had been in this parallel world for 10 days now. In these 10 days he had been hiding and running. Fortunately he was not eaten by zombies. After these 10 days, Yili had finally found out what world he had transmigrated into. A world with zombies. He had only seen such a world in novels and movies before. When he had just transmigrated here, he heard that there was a base city called Annan. Now he was not far from the Annan base city. He wanted to go there to find a shelter. Otherwise, if he stayed outside for too long, he would surely die. The city where Yili was had obviously been occupied by zombies. He hid in a hospital hoping there were no zombies inside. Otherwise he would be doomed. He could handle 1 or 2 ordinary zombies, but if there were too many he could imagine what would happen. After all, he was not even an awakened being. Human special genes were divided into 5 levels from low to high: D, C, B, A and S. The higher the gene level, the higher the future achievement. Awakened beings were divided into levels 1 to 10, and above level 10 were evolved beings. Yili was very careful with each step, afraid of attracting zombies to eat him. Even if he was lucky enough not to be eaten by zombies, being bitten would turn him into a zombie. He even dared not breathe too hard. As a transmigrator he was really miserable. Others who transmigrated all had invincible cheat codes and were protagonists. But he transmigrated into a world with zombies and had to be careful not to attract zombies all the time. Yili hid in a ward. Looking at the dirty room he sighed. When would this end? Although he had only been in this parallel world for 10 days, no one knew what he had experienced in these 10 days. Gurgle. Suddenly Yili's stomach growled again. He was thirsty, hungry but dared not go out. He didn't know how many zombies were outside. Roar roar. A terrifying sound entered Yili's ears. Yili was startled. He had heard this sound too many times in these 10 days. It was not any other sound but the sound of zombies. Boom boom boom. Then came a burst of intense knocking. If zombies broke into the door, he had nowhere to hide in this small room. He could only die or become a zombie. What should I do? Yili's face was ashen. Was he destined to die? Ding. Super synthesis system binding in progress. 10%, 30%, 60%, 100%. Super synthesis system binding complete. The voice that suddenly appeared in his mind surprised Yili. He knew this was a system. As a transmigrator he certainly knew what a system was. But he didn't have time to think. For male zombies had already broken in. As soon as these 4 male zombies saw Yili, they crazily pounced on him as if they were already starving for 10 days. As long as the host can subdue these 4 male zombies, they can be synthesized. The voice of the system sounded again in Yili's mind. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 2 Yili thought to himself, these are 4 zombies. How can an ordinary person like me subdue them? But there was no time to think much. The 4 male zombies had already arrived in front of him. Yili rolled away, avoiding the zombies' attack. He felt something hard on the ground. It was an iron rod. Although he didn't know why there would be an iron rod in the ward, he could use it to fight these 4 zombies. Yili stood up and struck one of the zombies' heads with the iron rod. With his survival instincts in overdrive, Yili's full potential was unleashed. His only thought now was to take down these 4 zombies. Yili swung the iron rod at the other 3 zombies and they fell to the ground instantly. Phew. Yili breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that zombies weren't that easy to kill. Just as he was about to escape, the 4 zombies stood up from the ground and lunged at him again. Yili had to use the iron rod to strike their heads again. He didn't know where he got the strength, but he managed to knock down the 4 male zombies again. Although the zombies were not dead, they had lost their ability to move for a short time. Host can synthesize these 4 male zombies. As Yili was about to leave the hospital room, the system's voice sounded in his mind. 4 grids appeared in Yili's mind. There was a zombie in each grid. The zombie's level was displayed above its head, all of them at level 1. During the 100 years after zombies appeared, zombies were classified into different levels. Level 1 to 5 zombies were called ordinary zombies. Level 6 to 10 were called advanced zombies. And those above level 10 were called mutant zombies. Mutant zombies were vastly different from level 10 zombies. The lowest leveled mutant zombies were tier 1 zombies with green eyes. System, how do I synthesize them? As long as the host drags a level 1 zombie onto another level 1 zombie, they can be synthesized. Yili followed the instructions and dragged a level 1 zombie onto another one. Are you sure you want to synthesize them? Yes. Yili clicked the confirm button. The 2 level 1 zombies merged into a level 2 zombie. Yili was excited and synthesized the other 2 level 1 zombies into level 2 zombies. The original 4 level 1 zombies became 2 level 2 zombies. System, can these 2 level 2 zombies be synthesized into a level 3 zombie? Yes, host. Hearing this, Yili synthesized the 2 level 2 zombies into a level 3 zombie. Although a level 3 zombie was just an ordinary zombie, not even an advanced zombie, it didn't matter. What mattered was that Yili could synthesize zombies. This way he could create an army of zombies. I never thought it would be this exciting. I thought it would be difficult to survive this post-apocalyptic world. But now it's just so much fun. Yili smiled and looked at the level 3 zombie in front of him, thinking that it was incredibly ugly and scary. Ding. Congratulations to the host for synthesizing a zombie for the first time. Host, you have received a treasure box. Would you like to open it? Open it. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 gene points, 10 strength points, 10 speed points and 10 defense points. Yili integrated the attributes he obtained into his body and felt a qualitative change in his physical abilities. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 3, Congratulations host for becoming an awakened being. Upon hearing the system's words, Yili's face lit up with joy. Awakened beings could be very different from ordinary people. As long as one became an awakened being, he was a real warrior. Here is the host's attribute panel. Host Yili. Age 21. System, Super Synthetic System. Realm, First Level Awakened Being. Skills, none. Gene, D level. Yili smiled with satisfaction. Although he was only a first level awakened being now, with the system, upgrading would be fast. He thought that although he now had a level 3 zombie, it was far from enough. A level 3 zombie was just an ordinary one, and more zombie synthesis was needed. This city had already been occupied by zombies, and the number of zombies was probably in the tens of thousands. Thinking of this, Yili was very excited. But he still couldn't face the massive tide of zombies now. First, he had to become stronger and synthesize more zombies. There should be more than 4 zombies in this hospital, right? Yili said to himself. With that, Yili took the level 3 male zombie and left the ward. The stronger the zombie, the fewer in number. Advanced zombies were extremely rare, let alone tier 1 or higher tiered mutant zombies. Most zombies were just level 1 zombies. Yili's purpose in leaving the ward was to find more zombies. Ah! A terrifying scream came into Yili's ears. Yili knew it was a human scream, so he quickly followed the sound with the level 3 male zombie and arrived outside a room. Pushing the door open, he found several zombies eating a doctor's corpse. The scene was simply appalling. There were both male and female zombies, and when they saw Yili, they rushed towards him crazily. Roar! Roar! Yili didn't run away but let the level 3 male zombie take down the male and female zombies in front of him. The 6 zombies lost their fighting ability and fell to the ground, screaming in pain. 4 of the 6 zombies were male and 2 were female. System, can male and female zombies be synthesized? No, only zombies of the same gender can be synthesized. Yili nodded, and immediately these zombies appeared in the grids in his mind. All 6 zombies were level 1 zombies. Yili combined 4 level 1 male zombies into 2 level 2 zombies. And he combined 2 level 1 female zombies into 1 level 2 female zombie. He now had 1 level 3 male zombie, 2 level 2 male zombies, and 1 level 2 female zombie. Yili combined 2 level 2 male zombies into a level 3 zombie. He now had 2 level 3 male zombies. Without any hesitation, Yili combined these 2 level 3 male zombies into a level 4 zombie. Yili was excited. It wouldn't be long before he synthesized a mutant zombie. Ding. Congratulations, host, for randomly obtaining a treasure chest. Would you like to open it? Open it. Yili said without any hesitation. Congratulations, host, for obtaining a steel-cutting knife. Congratulations, host, for obtaining immunity to zombie poison. Congratulations, host, for acquiring a box of food. Yili's eyes brightened as he thought that the treasure chest had yielded some really good stuff this time. He received the steel-cutting knife, and a sharp blade emitting a chilling radiance appeared in his hand. Immunity to zombie poison was the ultimate cheat within cheats. With immunity to zombie poison, he no longer needed to fear turning into a zombie. As for food, Yili had been so excited just now that he had completely forgotten about how thirsty and hungry he was. He quickly opened the box and found bread and milk inside. Yili began to devour them ravenously. In this world, just being able to survive was already a blessing. Who cared about manners when it came to eating? Before long he had polished off an entire box of bread and milk. Patting his stomach, Yili felt the satisfying feeling of being full. Now that he was well fed and hydrated, it was time to find some zombies to synthesize. This hospital was so big, so there had to be more than just a few zombies here. Yili started to search for more zombies with the level 4 male zombie and level 2 female zombie. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 4. As expected, not long after, Yili saw a dozen zombies on the 3rd floor of the hospital. Attack. Yili ordered the level 4 male zombie and the level 2 female zombie. Yili was full of spirits. He had been hiding and going through countless difficulties and obstacles for the last 10 days, and now he had finally turned the tables. At Yili's command, the level 4 male and level 2 female zombies rushed towards the dozen or so zombies. Soon, the level 4 male and level 2 female zombies subdued the zombies. Of the dozen or so zombies, 8 were male zombies and 8 were female zombies. Yili combined the 8 male zombies into a level 4 male zombie and the 8 female zombies into a level 4 female zombie. Now he had 2 level 4 male zombies, 1 level 4 female zombie, and 1 level 2 female zombie. 2 level 4 male zombies could be synthesized into a level 5 zombie. In his mind, Yili dragged a level 4 male zombie onto the other. In an instant, a level 5 zombie was born. The level 5 zombie was still an ordinary zombie. It would become an advanced zombie at level 6. Yili continued to search for zombies in the hospital. To his disappointment, there were no other zombies in the hospital. Now it was getting late and it was not appropriate to go out and look for zombies. Yili found a relatively clean room and had the level 5 male zombie and 2 female zombies guard him before going to sleep. The next day, the sunlight shone on Yili's face through the window. As soon as he woke up and stretched lazily, the system's voice appeared in Yili's mind again. Ding. Congratulations, host, you have obtained 3 zombie boxes. Yili was stunned. He quickly checked and found a level 5 zombie box, a level 4 zombie box, and a level 2 zombie box. Host, zombies can produce boxes every day. The higher the level of the zombie, the better the contents of the box. The system explained to Yili. Hearing this, Yili's face was filled with excitement. Without thinking too much, Yili opened the box produced by the level 2 female zombie. Obtained 5 gene points, 5 strength points, 5 speed points, and 5 defense points. Yili fused the acquired attributes into his body. This level 2 zombie box was not very good. Then he opened the level 4 zombie box. Obtained 15 gene points, 15 strength points, 15 speed points, 15 defense points. 2 boxes of food. Yili felt that this was pretty good and he fused the attribute points. He opened the level 5 zombie box. Obtained 20 gene points, 20 strength points, 20 speed points, 20 defense points. 3 boxes of food. After fusing the attributes from the level 5 zombie box into his body, Yili felt that his body had undergone another qualitative change. Yili opened the attribute panel again. Host, Yili. Age, 21 years old. System, Super Synthesis System. Realm, Level 2 Awakened Being. Skill, Zombie Poison Immunity. Weapon, Steel Cutting Knife. Gene, Sea Level. Yili thought that he was still rubbish even though he was now a Level 2 Awakened Being. Like a Level 2 zombie, a Level 2 Awakened Being was just an ordinary Awakened Being. It wasn't until level 6 that one became an advanced awakened being. Furthermore, above awakened beings there were evolved beings. Awakened beings and evolved beings were fundamentally incomparable. However, he didn't expect his gene level to upgrade from D level to C level. The higher the gene level, not only did it represent higher future achievements, but also signified greater strength. For example, a level 2 C level gene awakened being was undoubtedly stronger than a level 2 D level gene awakened being. Above C-level gene was B-level. It would be difficult to advance to B-level genes, but Yili was not worried at all. The zombies produced zombie treasure chests every day which contained gene points. If he wanted to upgrade his genes, it might not be as difficult as it seemed. Then Yili became a little distressed, wondering how to deal with these 5 boxes of food. Taking them along didn't seem very convenient. Ding. Unlock system space. The system space can accommodate up to 100 items. Yili rejoiced, thinking that things came just when needed. He placed the 5 boxes of food into the system space and after some thought, he also put the level 5 male zombie, level 4 female zombie, and level 2 female zombie into the system space. System space, 8/100. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 5. Yili looked out the window and found no zombies on the street, which puzzled him. He had just arrived in this city yesterday and had seen many zombies. Why were there no zombies around now? Had something happened? Yili pondered but couldn't come up with an answer. After transmigrating to this parallel world, Yili had planned to go to Annan Base City for survival. But things were different now since he had a system. Now that he couldn't see a single zombie on the street, Yili felt frustrated. Without any zombies, how was he going to synthesize them? Without thinking too much, Yili stepped onto the street. Although there were no zombies here now, could there be none all the time? Yili continued walking forward, hoping to see if there were any zombies ahead. Just after taking a couple of steps, he heard some noise. Following the sound, Yili found a boxing gym. Could there be zombies in the gym? The idea excited him. He walked to the boxing gym and found that the door wasn't locked. Yili gently pushed open the door and found a male zombie with boxing gloves hitting a sandbag. This zombie can actually box? Yili was amazed and thought this was really interesting. Immediately he pushed open the door and walked into the boxing gym. The male zombie immediately stopped hitting the sandbag and stared at Yili blankly. Yili also looked at the male zombie. The male zombie, wearing boxing gloves, was towering in stature, standing at around 1.9 meters tall, with a hulking figure that exuded an overwhelming sense of intimidation. His intuition told him that the male zombie with boxing gloves was probably an awakened being, not a level 1 zombie. Roar! Roar! The male zombie with boxing gloves suddenly rushed towards Yili as if he had just reacted. Yili released the level 5 male zombie, level 4 female zombie, and level 2 female zombie from his system space. 3 against 1, even if he was Achilles, he wouldn't stand a chance. The level 5 male zombie, level 4 female zombie and level 2 female zombie started to fight fiercely with the male zombie with boxing gloves. To Yili's surprise, the male zombie with boxing gloves was very strong. He took on the 3 opponents at once without any disadvantage. Suddenly, the level 2 female zombie was smashed into mash by the male zombie with boxing gloves. The scene was gruesome. Fortunately, the level 5 male zombie and level 4 female zombie were strong enough to defeat the male zombie with boxing gloves. Yili breathed a sigh of relief. He wanted to see what level this male zombie with boxing gloves was since he almost defeated 3 zombies alone. The male zombie with boxing gloves appeared in Yili's mind grid, and his level was displayed as a level 5 zombie. Yili was puzzled since level 5 wasn't high. His level 5 male zombie, level 4 female zombie, and level 2 female zombie couldn't defeat a single level 5 zombie. He thought about it and understood why. When an awakened being turned into a zombie, there was a chance for them to retain their former skills. The male zombie with the boxing gloves must have been very strong when he was alive, as indicated by his physique and the gloves he wore. Yili suddenly had an idea, which was to train this formidable male zombie with the boxing gloves. Without much hesitation, Yili synthesized the level 5 male zombie with the male zombie wearing boxing gloves. The male zombie with the boxing gloves became a level 6 zombie. A level 6 zombie was considered a high-level zombie. Although it was only 1 level higher than a level 5 zombie, its strength was several times greater. Yili looked at the male zombie with the boxing gloves in front of him and wondered if he should give him a name. What name would be good? "Let's call you Ada," Yili said to the male zombie with the boxing gloves. Yili thought that he should quickly synthesize this big guy into an even higher level zombie. With Ada, the level 5 male zombie, and the level 4 female zombie, Yili left the boxing gym and continued searching for the presence of zombies on the street. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 6. Yili hadn't walked for long when several panicked voices reached his ears. Help! Help! Yili focused his gaze and saw several humans running towards him. Are they all awakened beings? Yili noticed that he could sense the energy fluctuations in the bodies of these humans. Awakened beings were divided into levels 1 to 10. Although they were not very strong, they were still warriors. Yili was puzzled. Why were these awakened beings so terrified? Could it be? Yili suddenly thought of a shocking possibility. There were many zombies chasing after them. Sure enough, not long after these awakened beings, countless zombies surged towards them. Yili was stunned. There were probably thousands of zombies. He quickly found a place to hide because with the zombies he wouldn't be able to withstand such a large horde. Yili suddenly had an idea. Since he couldn't confront them head-on, could he engage in guerrilla battle? With this thought, Yili's eyes gleamed. After the horde of zombies passed, Yili emerged from his hiding spot and shouted at the zombies. The zombies all turned their heads and upon seeing Yili in front of them, surged towards him crazily. Roar! Roar! There were hundreds of zombies in this wave. Seeing this, Yili quickly climbed up a nearby tall tree, and he had Ada, the level 5 male zombie, and the level 4 female zombie climb up as well. Beat whomever climbs up to death. Yili ordered them. 100 or so zombies scrambled to climb up the tree. Although the tree was large, it wasn't big enough to accommodate all of them. The 100 or so zombies were pulling and tugging at each other and repeated the cycle of climbing up and falling down. Finally, about a dozen male zombies managed to climb up and were not far from Yili. At that moment, Ada, the level 5 male zombie, and the level 4 female zombie began to take action. The dozen or so male zombies instantly fell down. Yili smiled. Now he could synthesize these zombies in the tree. He synthesized the dozen or so fallen male zombies into 8 level 2 zombies. The 8 level 2 zombies began to ambush the other zombies on the ground. Whenever a zombie fell, Yili would synthesize it. If it fell again, he would synthesize it again. The smile on Yili's face grew wider and wider. He realized he was on a roll. In no time, all the hundreds of zombies had been synthesized into level 2 zombies by Yili. Among them were 26 level 2 male zombies and 25 level 2 female zombies. Yili synthesized the 26 level 2 male zombies into 13 level 3 male zombies, and he continued synthesizing these 13 level 3 male zombies. 6 level 3 male zombies were synthesized into 3 level 4 male zombies. The 3 level 4 male zombies were naturally synthesized into 1 level 5 male zombie and 1 level 4 male zombie. Yili was very satisfied. He already had 1 level 5 male zombie and now he had 2. Immediately, Yili synthesized the 2 level 5 zombies into a level 6 zombie. Another level 6 zombie was born. Without hesitation, Yili synthesized this level 6 male zombie with Ada. Ada became level 7. Now he had Ada and 1 level 4 male zombie. And 25 level 2 female zombies. Yili started synthesizing the female zombies. Yili crazily synthesized in his mind. The whole process was incredibly fast. 3 level 5 female zombies were produced just like that. The 2 level 5 female zombies were then synthesized into 1 level 6 female zombie. Yili now possessed a high-level female zombie. His current female zombies included 1 level 6 female zombie, 1 level 4 female zombie, and 1 level 2 female zombie. What a delight. Yili stored the 5 zombies in the system space and then ran forward. He wanted to see how those awakened beings were doing, although he guessed they had probably been eaten by the zombies. He didn't feel any discomfort in his heart. In this world, human lives were as insignificant as grass. If he pitied those awakened beings, who would pity him? If it weren't for Yili acquiring the system, he probably wouldn't have been able to leave the hospital yesterday. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 7. Yili hadn't run far when he saw numerous zombies gathering ahead. Those awakened beings must have been surrounded by the zombies. The zombies began attacking the awakened beings. The awakened beings tried to defend themselves, but there were simply too many zombies. Yili released the 5 zombies from the system space. Starting from the outer layer of the encirclement, the zombies fell one after another as Yili swiftly synthesized them. His speed had reached an astonishing level. Yili synthesized all the zombies, feeling somewhat helpless that they were all level 1 zombies. What surprised Yili even more was that they were all male zombies. It was strange because there were female zombies in the previous wave. 2 level 1 zombies synthesized into 1 level 2 zombie. 4 level 1 zombies synthesized into 1 level 3 zombie. 8 level 1 zombies synthesized into 1 level 4 zombie. 10-24 level 1 zombies can be synthesized into. At this point, a gleam appeared in Yili's eyes. 10-24 level 1 zombies can be synthesized into a tier 1 zombie. The tier 1 zombie was a mutant zombie. He now had over 500 level 2 zombies, which was enough to synthesize a tier 1 zombie. Realizing this, Yili quickly synthesized the over 500 level 2 zombies. Yili synthesized the resulting level 7 zombie and Ada. Before long, Ada became a tier 1 zombie. Ding. Congratulations, host, for synthesizing a tier 1 zombie. You have received a super treasure chest. Would you like to open it? Open it. You have obtained 20 gene points, 20 strength points, 20 speed points, and 20 attribute points. Congratulations, host, for becoming a level 3 awakened being. Yili thought that it was quite fast for him to become a level 3 awakened being. He looked at Ada and suddenly noticed that Ada had become much better looking and his eyes had turned green. Could it be that the higher the level of the zombie, the more their appearance would change? If that were true, then the female zombies. Yili didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Even if the higher-level female zombies, the more beautiful they were still zombies after all. There was a huge difference between high-level zombies and mutant zombies. Now that Ada had become a Tier 1 mutant zombie, Yili thought he could dominate here. He still had over 100 level 2 zombies left. Yili synthesized these dozens of zombies into one level 7 male zombie and one level 6 male zombie. Now he could truly be called a wealthy landlord. Looking at those awakened beings again, he noticed that there was no trace of them anymore. They had all been devoured by the zombies. Yili thought that it was their own ill fate. Suddenly Yili heard some noise. He turned around and saw a young girl running towards him. Yili looked at the girl and realized she was also an awakened being. The energy fluctuations in her body were much stronger than those of the previous awakened beings. Without thinking, Yili knew that the girl was being chased by zombies. Yili felt a sense of joy as he thought he could synthesize more zombies. Sure enough, 2 zombies crazily chased after the girl. They were 2 female zombies. Yili looked at the 2 female zombies chasing after the girl and realized they were high-level zombies. The girl was an awakened being and her level must not be low, yet she was still being chased by 2 zombies. There was no other explanation except that they were high-level zombies. Luck was unstoppable. Finally, he encountered 2 high-level zombies and they were even female zombies. "Come over quickly," Yili shouted at the girl, hoping to lure the zombies over. The girl was startled. While running, she looked at Yili and that glance left her in shock. That is, a flash suddenly crossed the girl's mind. A Tier 1 zombie? The girl was extremely shocked at this moment. She couldn't understand why there would be a Tier 1 zombie in Tongqing. Tier 1 zombies were easy to recognize by the color of their eyes, which were green. To Yili's surprise, the girl turned and ran into an alley, and naturally the 2 high-level female zombies followed her into the alley. Yili was somewhat astonished, thinking that as long as she came over, she could survive. "Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 8. Nevertheless, Yili chose to chase after them. Only by doing so could he combine those 2 high-level female zombies. As he chased into the alley, there was no trace of the girl and the 2 high-level female zombies. The girl was an advanced awakened, so she could definitely run very fast. Yili kept chasing into the alley, not knowing how long he had been pursuing when he finally saw the girl and the 2 high-level female zombies. It turned out they had reached a dead end. The girl leaned against the wall, panting heavily, seemingly exhausted. Although the girl was an advanced awakened being, she could still get tired. Presumably, she had been running for quite a while to be in such a state. The 2 high-level female zombies pounced towards the girl. The girl closed her eyes as if she knew she was about to die. "Take action," Yili commanded Ada. Ada shot out, moving at an incredible speed. Boom! Ada threw 2 punches, sending the 2 high-level female zombies flying away. The 2 high-level female zombies were embedded into the wall, unable to break free. The girl opened her eyes and looked at the Tier 1 male zombie in front of her. Her already pale face became even paler. You. Don't worry, he won't harm you." Yili's voice reached the girl's ears. The girl was startled as she looked at Yili. Right, she had seen them just now. Yili didn't pay any further attention to the girl. Instead, he looked at the 2 high-level female zombies in the wall. The 2 high-level female zombies appeared in the grid in Yili's mind, and their displayed level was 7. Yili was delighted. Indeed, they were high-level zombies. Immediately, Yili synthesized these 2 7th-level female zombies into one 8th-level female zombie. Currently, Yili didn't intend to develop this 8th-level female zombie. He wanted to nurture female zombies that had turned from awakened beings. Without much thought, Yili stored the male and female zombies into the system space. System space, 13/100. It contained Ada, a 7th-level male zombie, a 6th-level male zombie, a 4th-level male zombie, an 8th-level female zombie, a 6th-level female zombie, a 4th-level zombie, and a 2nd-level female zombie. In addition, there were 5 boxes of food and a steel cutting knife. The girl watched as the 8 zombies disappeared before her eyes. She was dumbfounded. She swore she was truly astonished. A scene that would never be possible appeared right before her eyes. How could she not be amazed? She also remembered clearly that Yili was standing together with those zombies just now, and there was even a Tier 1 zombie among them. So why didn't those zombies attack him? Furthermore, she saw that the 2 7th-level female zombies chasing her had merged into one and even upgraded in level. She couldn't understand. She really couldn't comprehend. Are you human or? The girl looked at Yili in astonishment. Everything she saw made her doubt whether Yili was even human. Of course, inhuman. What kind of question is that? Yili found it somewhat amusing. Although he didn't have an exceptionally handsome appearance, he still had a certain air about him. How could this girl not tell if he was human or a zombie? Hearing his response, the girl let out a sigh of relief. No matter how she looked at it, she felt that Yili was a human. Thank you, Senior, for saving me. My name is Yun Man, the girl looked at Yili and said. Yili didn't expect the girl to address him as Senior. That was interesting. It seemed like she considered him an evolved being. Above the awakened beings were the evolved beings. Their difference was just like that between a level 10 zombie and a tier 1 one. There was a world of difference between the two. Yun Man, Yili murmured. By the way, why were you being chased by zombies? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 9. Yili felt puzzled. He thought Yun Man should be a warrior from the Anan Bay city, so why was she here? The same went for the other awakened beings. Senior, we came to Tongqing for training, Yun Man replied, lowering her head. Training? Yili understood. No wonder there were no zombies on the streets when he was at the hospital. These delicate flowers had most likely attracted the zombies away. How many people came for training this time? Yili asked. About 20 people in total. We didn't expect there would be so many zombies in the East District. Only 5 of us managed to escape, but I don't know how the rest of us are doing, Yun Man answered, her face still pale, as if she couldn't believe what she had experienced was real. They're all dead. Not even a trace of bone left. Yili said calmly. Ah. Yun Man widened her eyes and her already pale face turned even paler. The people who died were her classmates. They had come to Tongqing secretly for training because their teachers at the academy didn't allow them to come here. She deeply regretted it now. If she could do it again, she would have persuaded her classmates not to come to Tongqing. What? If it weren't for me, you would have had the same fate as them. Yili said slowly. After saying that, Yili seemed to think of something and looked at Yun Man again. You said there were a lot of zombies in the East District? Yes, Senior. Yun Man was confused, not understanding why Yili was asking this. Yili smiled. What he feared now was that there wouldn't be enough zombies. Then lead the way to the East District, let's go. Upon hearing this, Yun Man was so scared that her soul seemed to leave her body. Senior, you want to go to the East District? Yun Man felt like she must have misheard. She had just experienced a narrow escape in the East District. How could she dare to go back? Yes, I want to go to the East District, Yili nodded. But, Senior, there are too many zombies in the East District. Yun Man wanted to dissuade Yili from the idea of going to the East District. Essentially, she was being kind. I'm not afraid of zombies, Yili said indifferently. Yun Man saw that Yili was determined to go to the East District, but she had just barely escaped from there. How could she possibly think of going back? So many of her classmates died in the East District. How could she explain it when she returned to Anan Academy? Yun Man was torn with conflicting thoughts. What's wrong? Don't you want to show me the way? Yili looked at Yun Man. Yun Man was startled. No, Senior, it's not that. I'm just hungry and thirsty with no strength left in my body. Yun Man had no choice but to say this. She wanted Yili to give up, but she wasn't lying either. She was truly hungry and thirsty. Have some food. After saying that, Yili took out a box of food from the system space. Yili opened the food box, revealing bread and milk inside. Yun Man widened her eyes, looking astonished at the bread and milk in the box. She couldn't understand how Yili had managed to obtain them. She distinctly remembered that Yili didn't have this box of food just now. But at this moment, Yun Man didn't have time to think about it. She had run all the way from the East District and was already famished and thirsty. She picked up the bread and milk and started eating and drinking. It's delicious. Yili smiled. In this city overrun by zombies, it wasn't easy to find bread and milk. However, Yun Man was from Anan Bay City. It must be different for her. Now, can you take me to the East District? Yili looked at Yun Man, thinking that now that she was full and satisfied, it was time to move on. Yun Man had been preoccupied with eating and forgotten about this. There was no such thing as a free lunch. She could only reluctantly agree. Well, okay. Yun Man nodded. Immediately, Yun Man led Yili toward the East District. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 10. Yun Man walked with Yili, feeling somewhat uneasy and upset. Senior, how come it seems like you're only a level 3 awakened being? Yun Man cautiously looked at Yili. Although she was a level 7 awakened being, she couldn't help but feel that Yili was unfathomable. For example, that Tier 1 zombie. She didn't know where it had gone. Thinking of that Tier 1 zombie, she shuddered in fear. It was like a towering tower, overwhelming her and making it hard to breathe. That's right. I'm only a level 3 awakened being. Yili nodded. Then why are you so determined to go to the East District? Yun Man looked at Yili in astonishment. Yili didn't answer. He didn't want to reveal his intentions just yet. Seeing that Yili didn't respond, Yun Man sighed inwardly. She had finally escaped from the East District. It would be life-threatening to go back there. Senior, the East District is just ahead. Yun Man pointed ahead, and ahead was a dilapidated city. Yili surveyed the East District and indeed, it looked even more devastated than where he was just now. There must be a lot of zombies here. The thought of encountering many zombies made Yili somewhat delighted. As long as there were plenty of zombies, he could go on a frenzy of synthesis. Yun Man looked at the smile on Yili's face and was stunned. How could he still be smiling when they had reached the gates of hell? Let's enter the East District, Yili said slowly. Yun Man nodded, and the two of them entered the East District. When Yili arrived in the East District, he saw zombies roaming in all directions. Yili realized that Yun Man was right. There were indeed many zombies in the East District. Senior, zombies are coming towards us, Yun Man exclaimed, pointing ahead. Roar! Roar! Yili noticed over 30 zombies charging at them and he smiled. Don't make a move. Yili looked at Yun Man and said. Yili thought Yun Man, being a high-level awakened being, might accidentally kill some of these zombies, which would be a loss for him. Come out. Yili released Ada, subdue these zombies for me. After hearing the command, Ada rushed towards the group of over 30 zombies. Ada, now a Tier 1 zombie with retained supernatural abilities, possessed terrifying power. These 30-plus zombies couldn't withstand Ada at all and were instantly knocked to the ground. Yun Man stood there motionless as if frozen. It turned out that her suspicion was correct. This Tier 1 zombie was truly under Yili's control. Yili ignored Yun Man's astonishment and began to synthesize the 30-plus zombies. One male zombie, one male zombie. One female zombie, one female zombie. All the 30-plus zombies were level 1 zombies. Yili synthesized them into a level 5 male zombie and a level 5 female zombie. Yili wasn't completely satisfied and hoped to encounter another wave of zombies. Senior, how did over 30 zombies turn into only 2? And their levels have all increased. Yun Man finally gathered her courage and asked the question she had been wanting to ask. That is the purpose of my coming to the East District. Yili smiled slowly. Beep beep beep. At that moment, Yun Man's communication device beeped. As the name suggests, the communication device was used for communication, but unlike a cell phone, it used energy and didn't need to be charged. Yun Man pressed a button and a virtual screen appeared in front of her. A beautiful woman appeared on the virtual screen. Yun Man, are you in the East District? Why can't I contact the others? Teacher, don't say anything. Send me your coordinates. Well, come to find you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 11. Yun Man felt a mixture of joy and fear. She was glad that her teacher had come to Tongqing, but she was afraid that all her classmates had died. After sending her coordinates, Yun Man noticed that Yili was looking at her. Senior, my teacher will be coming to find me soon. It has nothing to do with me. Yili didn't care about these matters. It would be fine if Yun Man's teacher came to find her and took her back. He had only wanted Yun Man to show him the way, and now that they had arrived in the East District, Yun Man had become somewhat of a burden, more or less. Roar! Roar! At that moment, Yili heard the sounds of the zombies again. Instantly, he perked up as over 100 zombies were rushing toward them. Yili smiled. They had encountered so many zombies just after entering the East District, and he expected there would be even more as they ventured further in. Without hesitation, Yili released all the zombies from the system space. He now had Ada and one male zombie each of levels 7, 6, 5 and 4. And one female zombie each of levels 8, 6, 5, 4 and 2. With this lineup he could dominate the East District. However, Yili wasn't arrogant. He knew he was still weak and didn't have enough zombies yet. In this post-apocalyptic world, human strongholds were represented by major powers, clans and organizations. There were also legendary 10th-tier zombies known as the True Zombie Kings. Legend had it that there was a dark force that caused the outbreak of the zombie virus and brought about the apocalypse. Compared to these forces, he was nothing but a lowly ant. However, it wouldn't be long before Yili showed them that sometimes even an ant could become the protagonist. Yi instructed Ada and the male and female zombies to guard around him, killing any zombies approaching him. Roar! Roar! Over 100 zombies had already swarmed in. Ada and the other zombies began to take action just like the previous time in the tree. Every time a zombie fell, Yi would use it for synthesis. The virtual fingers in Yi's mind were moving within the grids at an incredible speed. He synthesized 30 level 2 male zombies and 22 level 2 female zombies. Then he synthesized the 30 level 2 male zombies into one level 7 male zombie. Keep on synthesizing. Besides Big A, he originally had one male zombie each of levels 7, 6, 5 and 4. By synthesizing 2 level 7 male zombies, a level 8 male zombie was born. Yi planned to quickly synthesize this level 8 male zombie with Ada, so Ada would become even stronger. Yi also combined the 22 level 2 female zombies into level 6, 5, and 4 female zombies each. Previously he had one female zombie each of levels 8, 6, 5, 4 and 2. After synthesizing the female zombies of the same level, he now had one female zombie each of levels 8, 7, 6, 5 and 2. Yi thought to himself that the synthesizing progress was too slow, but it didn't matter. After all, he hadn't yet found a female zombie who was an awakened being before death. It would be best to have female zombies that retain their pre-death abilities. Well, Yunman widened her eyes, looking at Yi in astonishment. At this moment, no words could describe her shock. She had never even heard of such a thing before, let alone witnessed it. I'm a bit hungry. Yi shrugged. He looked at Yunman and said, let's find a place to eat. No, if I leave my teacher won't be able to find me. Yunman quickly replied. But can't you send your location with that thing? You can just send your new location to your teacher. With those words, Yi looked around and then turned into a seemingly decent hotel. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 12. After pondering for a few seconds, Yunman reluctantly followed along. Although she was a level 7 awakened being, if she came across a zombie tide, there would be no chance of survival for her. Yi and Yunman randomly found a room, and then Yi took out a box of food from the system space. Senior, how did this food box appear? Yunman was genuinely curious. Yi didn't have a food box in his hands, so how did it appear out of thin air? That's not something you can inquire about, Yi said slowly. Upon hearing that, Yunman had no choice but to remain silent. She knew that experts always acted in mysterious ways. Yi thought about going out for a walk to see if there were any advanced zombies or the like. Yunman had no choice but to follow Yi out of the room. When luck came, it was unstoppable. When they reached the 7th floor, Yi heard some noise. Senior, are there zombies? Yunman whispered. Hush. He gestured for Yunman to be silent, to avoid alerting the other party. Yi approached the door and actually heard people talking inside. Young master ordered us to find Miss Xiaowei at all costs. Otherwise we'll be in big trouble when we return. Tongqing is so big and there are so many zombies. Where should we look? Don't be afraid. The zombies in Tongqing are at most advanced zombies. The main problem is that Guardian Scorpion has disappeared. If we encounter a zombie tide, we might not survive. Yi and Yunman clearly heard the conversation in the room. Senior, let's go. Yunman tugged at Yi's sleeve. She just wanted to wait for her teacher to arrive and then return to Annan Bay City. She didn't want to get involved in unnecessary trouble. Who's there? Suddenly, a sharp voice came from the door. The door was pushed open forcefully, and 4 men with peculiar appearances and colorful hair rushed out. Who are you people? One of the men coldly stared at Yi and Yunman. Yi looked at the 4 men. Fortunately, they were only advanced awakened beings. Senior, what should we do now? Yunman was at a loss. She could sense that these 4 men were stronger than her, possibly 8th or even 9th level awakened beings. Yi gave Yunman a reassuring smile. If these 4 men were first-order evolvers, he might die today. Unfortunately, they were only advanced awakened beings. The 4 men looked at Yi and Yunman with disdain. In their eyes, Yunman was just an advanced awakened being, and Yi was nothing but a pitiful low-level awakened being. Big brother, this girl is so beautiful. Yeah, big brother, I've never seen such a pretty girl before. Immediately, the 4 men looked at Yunman with wicked smiles. What do you want? Yunman kept retreating. She knew very well that these 4 men had ill intentions towards her. Little girl, you're so beautiful. Do you really need to ask what we want? One of the men licked his lips. Don't you dare do anything. I'm a student of Annan Academy and my teacher is coming soon. Yun Man said in a panic. Upon hearing this, the four men burst into laughter. Little girl, Annan Academy is just a school in Annan Bay City. Are we supposed to be afraid? The four men took steps closer to Yun Man, extending their claws like demons. At this moment, someone stood in front of Yun Man. That person was none other than Yi Li. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 13. Yun Man was astonished. She looked at the figure standing in front of her. Although he wasn't tall, she felt a deep sense of security. Do you really want to die? Yi Li calmly asked the four men. He suddenly had an idea, which was to turn these four men into zombies. Brat, do you think you can be a hero? You're just a low-level awakened being. I could crush you with one finger. Yi Li smiled and calmly replied, Do you really believe what you see with your eyes? What do you mean? The four men were puzzled, not understanding what Yi Li meant. No particular meaning. I have a proposal, Yi Li continued. What proposal? One of the men asked, curious to see what else Yi Li could come up with. Although Yi Li was insignificant in their eyes, they were interested to see what he had in store. How about turning all of you into zombies and using you for my purposes? Yi Li said casually. Ah, is this guy out of his mind? I'm sure he's gone crazy. He wants us to become zombies for his use. That's hilarious. The four men burst into laughter as if they had never heard such a funny joke before. Yi Li looked at the smiles on their faces and shook his head inwardly. He knew they didn't believe him, but he would make sure they understood the consequences of not believing him. Ada, take action. The next moment, Ada appeared suddenly from the system space. With a mighty height of 1.9 meters, Ada looked like a towering tower. But that's not what shocked the four men. What shocked them was the green color of Ada's eyes. A Tier 1 zombie, one of the men exclaimed. While ordinary zombies and advanced zombies could be distinguished from their energy fluctuations, Tier 1 zombies could be identified just by looking at their eyes, because Tier 1 zombies had green eyes. It's impossible. How can there be Tier 1 zombies? The four men were now terrified. The difference between advanced awakened beings and Tier 1 zombies was like heaven and earth. At this moment, these four men only wanted to escape. They knew that they had no chance of winning against a Tier 1 zombie. Ada, turn them all into zombies, Yi Li said slowly. After giving the command to Ada, Yi Li lowered his head and looked at his fingers as if he didn't care whether these four men would escape or not. As soon as Yi Li gave the order, Ada pounced. Roar! Although the four men were advanced awakened beings, how could they withstand the attack of a Tier 1 zombie like Ada? Ada's fists were covered with red gloves and his punches were swift. Before the four men could react, they were sent flying by Ada and crashed heavily into the wall. Then Ada bit and infected the four men, spreading the zombie toxin quickly throughout their bodies. In an instant, the four men turned into zombies. Roar! Roar! After turning into zombies, the four men revived as if they were fully healed, and they rushed towards Yi Li and Yun Man. After awakened beings turned into zombies, their levels would certainly decrease. These four awakened beings, even if they were still advanced zombies, were at most level 6 zombies. Ada delivered a punch to each of them, knocking them down to the ground, and they couldn't even get up. Now, do you still believe what you see with your eyes? Yi Li slowly spoke as he looked at the four men lying on the ground. Then he opened the synthesis grid in his mind and found that all of them were level 6 zombies. After thinking for a moment, he decided not to merge them but to cultivate them. Coincidentally, there were 4 of them: Golden Vajra, Silver Vajra, Bronze Vajra, and Iron Vajra. From now on, you will be called the 4 Great Vajras. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 14. After the 4 Great Vajras turned into zombies, they still retained their vibrant hair colors, which was quite unpleasant to look at. Yi Li took out the steel cutting knife from the system space and successfully shaved the 4 Great Vajras' heads bald. Ding! Detected the host naming zombies. The host has obtained a super treasure chest. Would you like to open it? Open it. You have obtained 25 gene points, 25 strength points, 25 speed points, and 25 defense points. Congratulations, the host has become a level 4 awakened being. Yi Li felt pleased. He thought he would have to wait until tomorrow to open the zombie treasure chest to become a level 4 awakened being. Senior, there are Tier 1 zombies. How could I forget about it? Yun Man mumbled with a pout. She sighed inwardly and wiped the sweat off her forehead. If it weren't for Yi Li, she wouldn't have known what to do. Beep beep beep. At this moment, Yun Man's communication device rang again. Yun Man answered the call, and a virtual image appeared before her. But this time, it wasn't the beautiful woman, it was a handsome young man. Yun Man, we have arrived. Please come down. Alright, Senior Chen Yun. After hanging up, Yun Man was overjoyed. She looked at Yi Li and said, Senior, my teacher has come to pick me up. I have to go down. Go ahead. Yi Li waved his hand. He had only intended for Yun Man to lead the way. Now that he was already in the East District, Yun Man's return to the Anan Bay City was a good thing for him. Senior, what about you? Yun Man curiously asked Yi Li. Remember, I have no connection with you. Wherever I go, it has nothing to do with you. Yi Li said calmly. Yun Man felt a little desolate upon hearing his words. She just wanted to ask. In that case, Senior, I'll go and meet my teacher first. If we have a chance, we'll meet again. After speaking, Yun Man left the room. At the moment she walked out of the door, she turned back to look at Yi Li, only to find him looking at the four great Vajras. Feeling a bit disappointed, Yun Man walked away. Yi Li looked at the four great Vajras, wondering if they still retained their special abilities. After checking the zombies, he found no male zombies that could be synthesized with the four great Vajras. Without thinking much, Yi Li stored Ada and the four great Vajras in the system space. Yi Li was also ready to leave. He wanted to continue finding zombies for synthesis. Ah! Suddenly Yun Man's voice came from afar. Yi Li quickly followed the sound. Although he had no connection with Yun Man, he didn't want anything bad to happen to her. Before long, Yi Li saw Yun Man surrounded by about 20 zombies. Yun Man was a level 7 awakened being, much stronger than these zombies. But ever since she witnessed her classmates being eaten one by one in the East District, she had developed a psychological shadow. Don't be afraid, I'm here, a voice suddenly entered Yi Li's ears. Yi Li followed the voice and saw a young man arrive next to Yun Man. The young man was very handsome and appeared to be 1 or 2 years older than Yun Man. Yi Li had just seen this young man in the virtual image on the communication device. Another advanced awakened being. Yi Li murmured to himself. Although advanced awakened beings and Tier 1 evolved beings were worlds apart, dealing with these zombies was still very easy for the former. Before long, the young man had killed all 20 or so zombies. Yun Man, are you all right? The young man asked with concern. Senior Chen Yun, where is my teacher? Yun Man asked anxiously. Ms. Mei Lin encountered a guardian of the White Lotus sect. She asked me to come find you first. Yi Li narrowed his eyes. A guardian of the White Lotus sect? Could it be the guardian scorpion mentioned by the four great Vajras earlier? The White Lotus sect was a cult that was established after the outbreak of the zombie virus, but it didn't seem to be a powerful organization. Yi Li found it intriguing and decided to go and find out. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 15, Tell me about the White Lotus sect. Yi Li said. An abrupt voice reached Chen Yun's ears, and he turned to see Yi Li approaching him. Yi Li had only been in this world for 10 days and hadn't heard of the White Lotus sect, so he felt it necessary to inquire. Who are you? Chen Yun asked, examining Yi Li. Yi Li's aura was that of an ordinary awakened being. Before Yi Li could speak, Yun Man's voice chimed in. Senior, he is my classmate, Chen Yun. He is the top talent of Anan Academy, Yun Man said happily, looking at Yi Li. So, what exactly is the White Lotus sect? Yi Li asked indifferently. Chen Yun furrowed his brow. Not only was he the top talent of Anan Academy, but he was also the young master of the Chen family, one of the 2 major warrior families in Anan Bay City. Yet Yi Li treated him as if he were insignificant. Yun Man, who is he exactly? Senior Chen Yun, his name is... Yun Man suddenly realized that she didn't even know Yi Li's name and could only look at him. Yi Li said slowly. Why does Yun Man call you senior? Chen Yun coldly asked, his handsome face growing somber. That's none of your concern. Just tell me about the White Lotus sect. Yi Li replied indifferently. Senior Chen Yun, Senior Yi Li is amazing. He can merge 2 zombies into one and control them. Also, those 4 advanced awakened beings from the White Lotus sect were turned into zombies by Senior Yi Li's Tier 1 zombie. Yun Man interjected. Chen Yun sneered. Yun Man, has this guy brainwashed you? He's just an ordinary awakened being. There was a significant gap between ordinary awakened beings and advanced ones, and once someone became an advanced awakened being, they naturally wouldn't pay attention to ordinary awakened beings. Senior Chen Yun, what I said is true, Yun Man quickly added, fearing that Chen Yun wouldn't believe her. Umph. Chen Yun snorted, his gaze fixed on Yi Li. What have you done to Yun Man? Yi Li secretly smiled, thinking that Chen Yun was nothing more than an advanced awakened being. How dare he question him? He truly didn't know his place. Senior Qin Yun, don't speak to Senior Yili that way or else. Yun Man worried that Yili would release Ada and turn Qin Yun into a zombie. Qin Yun ignored Yun Man and continued to stare at Yili. If you want talk, then don't blame me for being impolite. Qin Yun shouted coldly. As his voice fell, Qin Yun launched an attack toward Yili. Ada, show him what you're capable of, Yili said calmly. Roar. Ada emerged from the system space and threw a powerful punch at Qin Yun. Qin Yun widened his eyes and hurriedly dodged the punch, but Ada's speed was too fast and he couldn't react in time. Boom. Qin Yun crashed heavily into the wall, coughing up blood. However, he disregarded his injuries and looked up in astonishment at Ada, who stood like an iron tower in front of Yili. Tier 1 zombie? Qin Yun couldn't believe it. He truly couldn't fathom why there would be a Tier 1 zombie in Tongqing. Yili walked slowly to where Qin Yun lay on the ground, looking at him expressionlessly. Senior, Qin Yun has realized his mistake. Please spare him. Yun Man hastily pleaded. Yili looked at Qin Yun's horrified face and spoke slowly. Now, can you tell me about the White Lotus sect? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 16. Qin Yun could never have imagined that everything Yun Man said was actually true. He looked at Yili with extreme terror, only to find Yili's face as calm as water. The White Lotus sect is a cult, not far from Annan Bay City. Qin Yun had no intention of concealing anything, especially when he was facing a Tier 1 zombie. And Guardian Scorpion? Guardian Scorpion is one of the 4 guardians of the White Lotus sect, with the strength of a Tier 3 evolved being. Me and teacher Meilin came to Tongqing to find Yun Man, but we encountered him instead. Meilin fought Guardian Scorpion. Yili narrowed his eyes. A Tier 3 evolved being? That level of power was something he couldn't currently match. However, since such an existence existed in Tongqing, it would be regrettable not to meet him. After storing Ada in the system space, Yili left the hotel. Qin Yun stared at Yili's back, clenching his fists tightly. Yili, let's wait and see. The sun was setting, painting half the sky a fiery red, resembling a blazing cloud. It appeared incredibly spectacular. How? Countless zombies came from all directions. Yili realized that there were indeed many zombies in the East District, so now he could let the 4 great Vajras level up. Come out. Yili coldly snorted, and Ada and the 4 great Vajras emerged. The incoming zombies were just ordinary ones, and Ada and the 4 great Vajras easily dealt with them. As a Tier 1 zombie with residual power abilities from his previous life, Ada sent the ordinary zombies flying with each punch. Although the 4 great Vajras were only level 6 zombies, they were able to deal with multiple ordinary zombies with a single punch. As usual, whenever a zombie fell, Yili would use it for synthesis. From this wave of undead, Yili made a fortune. He produced 3 level 6 male zombies and 1 level 7 female zombie. Golden Vajra, Silver Vajra, Copper Vajra, and Iron Vajra, the 4 great Vajras were all level 6 zombies. He originally had 1 level 6 zombie, so now he had a total of 4 level 6 zombies, 1 for each of the Vajras. After Yili synthesized the 4 level 6 male zombies respectively with the 4 great Vajras, they all became level 7 zombies. Yili checked and found that there was still 1 level 7 male zombie in the system space. After some thought, Yili decided to prioritize the cultivation of Golden Vajra. He synthesized the level 7 male zombie with Golden Vajra, making it a level 8 zombie. Looking at the female zombies in the system space, there was 1 each of level 8, level 7, level 6, and level 2 female zombies. After synthesizing the level 7 female zombie obtained from this wave of corpses, he further combined it with another level 8 female zombie. Yili now had 1 level 9 female zombie. He checked the quantity of male and female zombies. Male zombies, Ada, 4 great Vajras, 1 level 5 male zombie and 1 level 4 male zombie. Female zombies, 1 level 9 female zombie, 1 level 6 female zombie, 1 level 5 female zombie, and 1 level 2 female zombie. Yili nodded in satisfaction. When he was about to continue moving forward, the voice of the system appeared in his mind. Ding. Congratulations, host, you have obtained a chance to draw a prize. Would you like to use it? Yili didn't expect he could draw a prize, which seemed interesting. Yes. Immediately, a roulette wheel appeared in his mind with a pointer spinning within it. Congratulations, host, for drawing the prize. Super Life Potion X1. Super Life Potion. Instantly recover regardless of the severity of injuries. Yili thought this was a divine potion. If this medicine appeared in China, it would definitely cause a sensation. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 17. Yi Li continued walking forward when suddenly he heard sounds of fighting. It doesn't seem like zombies fighting, but humans? A glint flashed in Yi Li's eyes as he thought it must be Yun Man's teacher and guardian scorpion of the White Lotus sect. According to Qin Yun, guardian scorpion is a third-stage evolved being, possessing terrifying power. He hurried towards the sound and found numerous zombies besieging two humans. The two were a man and a woman. The man was thin and emitted a suffocating evil aura, with a scorpion tattoo on his face. There was no need to guess. The man was undoubtedly guardian scorpion of the White Lotus sect. The other person was Meilin, Yun Man's teacher. Meilin appeared to be in her 20s, but she was already a third-stage evolved being. Such talent is truly terrifying. At the moment, Guardian Scorpion and Meilin were slaughtering the zombies that were attacking them. The number of zombies was overwhelming, likely exceeding 1,000. Yi Li realized that he had underestimated the heroes of this world. Meilin possessed such extraordinary talent. Yi Li stared at Guardian Scorpion and Meilin and noticed that Meilin's spiritual energy was purple. This meant that Meilin had an S-class gene. D-class genes were green, C-class genes were blue, B-class genes were black, class genes were red, and S-class genes were purple. The class of a warrior's genes could be discerned from his aura. He then looked at Guardian Scorpion, whose gene was class. Yi Li smirked. Although Guardian Scorpion and Meilin's current strength surpassed him, he still decided to do something big. Fortune favored the bold. He released Ada, the 4 great Vajras, and the male and female zombies. What he planned to do was to lure the zombies besieging Guardian Scorpion and Meilin and synthesize them. After he gave orders to the male and female zombies, they went on a frenzied charge. Although ordinary zombies lacked intelligence, they would naturally follow stronger zombies of their kind. Before long, over 1,000 zombies were lured over. This scene astonished both Guardian Scorpion and Meilin. Yi Li smiled, thinking that with so many zombies, he could synthesize them to create a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Now that the zombies have fled, let's continue, said Guardian Scorpion with a cold smile, staring at Meilin. Fine. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Meilin responded disdainfully. Immediately, Guardian Scorpion and Meilin resumed their fight. Seeing this, Yi Li felt relieved. Countless zombies had already gathered in front of him, and Yi Li commanded his zombies to deal with them. Ada, the 4 great Vajras, and the male and female zombies started their attack. Yi Li started frantically synthesizing zombies in his mind. To Yi Li's surprise, this wave of zombies numbered over 2,000. He synthesized a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Amazing. Without any hesitation, Yi Li dragged the Tier 1 male zombie onto Ada. Confirmed synthesis? Confirmed. Ding. Congratulations, host, for having a Tier 2 male zombie and obtaining a super treasure chest. Yi Li smiled. Now Ada had become a Tier 2 zombie, and he also obtained a super treasure chest. He wondered what was inside. He opened the super treasure chest, obtained 50 gene points, 50 strength points, 50 speed points, and 50 defense points. Obtained exclusive zombie skill, Earth-Shattering Fist. Obtained exclusive zombie skills, Wind, Rain, Thunder, and Lightning. Ding. Congratulations, host, for becoming a level 5 awakened being. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 18. Yi Li was extremely excited. The contents of this super treasure chest were incredible. A level 5 awakened being was still just an ordinary awakened being, nothing special to mention. However, what on earth were these exclusive zombie skills? Yi Li checked the Earth-Shattering Fist and Wind, Rain, Thunder, and Lightning. Earth-Shattering Fist, a D-grade fist technique. After the fist technique is upgraded to S-grade, your fist can shatter the heavens and earth. Wind, a D-grade magic. After it's upgraded to S-grade, you can uproot everything on your way with the magic. Rain, a D-grade magic. After it's upgraded to S-grade, you can flood the world with the magic. Thunder, a D-grade magic. After it's upgraded to S-grade, you can shake the world with thunder. Lightning, a D-grade magic. After it's upgraded to S-grade, you can control huge lightning. Yi Li thought, these are truly treasures. Although they are currently only D-grade, they can be upgraded. After thinking for a few seconds, he infused the Earth-Shattering Fist into Ada's body. And then he fused Wind, Rain, Thunder, and Lightning respectively into the bodies of the 4 great Vajras. Now all his zombies had their exclusive skills, and Yi Li was very satisfied. He looked at the ongoing battle and noticed that Guardian Scorpion and Teacher Meilin were evenly matched. Although Meilin possessed S-Class genes and was a Tier 3 evolved being, Guardian Scorpion should be stronger than her. Otherwise, as a Tier 3 evolved being with Class genes, Guardian Scorpion would never be able to defeat Meilin. Yili didn't know how much longer they would fight. He wanted to see if he could take advantage of the situation. This Tier 1 female zombie. Yili thought about whether he should cultivate a female zombie, but after considering it for a moment he decided not to. The reason was that he hadn't found a suitable female zombie so far. After putting the zombies into the system space, Yili calmly watched the battle between Meilin and Guardian Scorpion. Meilin wielded a purple longsword of high rank, while Guardian Scorpion's weapon was a scorpion tail blade. The battlefield was filled with flashing lights and a continuous exchange of cold glimmers. Yili found a place to sit down, crossed his legs and casually picked a blade of grass to chew on. He didn't want to help Meilin or Guardian Scorpion. He just wanted to sit back and watch the tigers fight. Yili rested his chin on his hand, his face showing a hint of boredom. The sky was about to darken, but they still hadn't determined a winner. Suddenly Yili's eyes lit up as he witnessed Meilin and Guardian Scorpion unleashing their ultimate moves. It was a fatal blow. On Meilin's purple sword, a purple phoenix flew forward, while Guardian Scorpion's scorpion tail blade swung down, its massive black blade energy clashing the purple phoenix. Boom. After the purple phoenix and the black blade energy disappeared, Yili looked at the battlefield and saw that Meilin spat out a mouthful of blood and had a horrifying wound on her body. Haha, even though you have S-Class genes, your strength is still inferior to mine since you've just reached the Tier 3 realm, Guardian Scorpion shouted arrogantly. Meilin covered her wound as crimson blood continuously flowed out. She had been seriously injured. Everything is over now, Guardian Scorpion said nonchalantly. Who said it's all over? Yili uttered each word with determination, without any hesitation. Who are you? Guardian Scorpion coldly responded. Yili walked slowly towards them. Initially he didn't want to step forward, but he thought that since he helped Meilin she should give him something valuable in return. With this thought in mind he approached them. Both Guardian Scorpion and Meilin were taken aback, as they never expected someone to appear at this moment. You? Guardian Scorpion narrowed his eyes and looked at Yili with a hint of playfulness. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 19. Brat, do you want to meddle in my business? Guardian Scorpion stared at Yili. Yes, I do. Yili calmly replied. Meilin covered her wound and looked at Yili with difficulty. You're no match for him. Leave quickly. Yili smiled faintly and said, although I'm no match for him, you are. Ha ha ha. Upon hearing this, Guardian Scorpion burst into laughter as if he had heard the funniest joke. What are you laughing at? Yili asked, puzzled. I'm laughing at how you're oblivious to your imminent death. A mere ordinary awakened being like you dares to boast? Guardian Scorpion said disdainfully. Yili shook his head slightly and took out the super life potion from the system space. Drink this and your injuries will heal, Yili said calmly to Meilin. Meilin hesitated. Although she couldn't believe Yili's words, her intuition told her that Yili wasn't lying. Brat, I'm curious to see what tricks you're playing, Guardian Scorpion said, folding his arms and looking at Yili with amusement. Go ahead. Drink it, Yili said slowly. After pondering for a few seconds, Meilin gritted her teeth, took the super life potion and drank it. In an instant a miracle happened. The wound on Meilin's body began to heal at an astonishing speed, and her spiritual power reached its peak. How is this possible? Guardian Scorpion gaped at the scene before him. Meilin was also stunned. She couldn't fathom that such a miraculous elixir existed in the world. Now, you can defeat him, Yili said calmly. During Meilin's battle with Guardian Scorpion earlier, he had expended a lot of spiritual power, and now his spiritual power was almost depleted. Brat, we'll meet again. With those words, Guardian Scorpion fled from the scene at an unprecedented speed, leaving Yili astonished. It must be said that Guardian Scorpion's choice to escape was extremely wise, otherwise he would have suffered under Meilin's purple sword. Thank you. Meilin expressed her gratitude as she looked at Yili. No need for thanks. Just give me 1 or 2 treasures. Yili said. He was not one to be taken advantage of, as he had given the super life potion to Meilin, and it was not in his character to receive nothing in return. Treasures? Meilin was taken aback. She never dreamed that Yili would say that. Yes, hurry up and give them to me, Yili said, opening his palm. Malin looked at Yili in astonishment, noticing that he was quite young. However, his eyes were unforgettable for anyone who saw them. They were as tranquil as the night and as deep as the sea. I don't have any treasures on me, Malin said, somewhat embarrassed. She thought that the elixir Yili had given her to drink must be extremely valuable, so it was reasonable for him to ask for something in return. Yili sighed inwardly at her words, realizing that he had sacrificed the child and failed to catch the wolf. But I am a teacher at Anan Academy. If you want to enter the academy, I can arrange it for you. I have no interest in entering Anan Academy, but you better prepare some treasures because I might come to take them at any time. Yili said slowly. Malin was startled again. What do you mean by treasures? I don't know either. Just don't disappoint me, Yili replied. With that, Yili walked away slowly. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 20. Malin stared at Yili's receding figure and rubbed her eyes, feeling like she was hallucinating. She really didn't understand why there would be such a strange person, and furthermore he was just an ordinary awakened being. What exactly does he mean by treasures? Malin muttered to herself. In fact, Yili didn't know what treasures he wanted either. It had only been 10 days since he transmigrated here, so how would he know what treasures there were? He just wanted something practical, but little did he know that Malin didn't have anything at all. Oh right, Yun Man. Malin snapped out of her thoughts and quickly sent a message to Yun Man using the communication device. Yun Man, wait for me there, I'll be there soon. With that, Malin headed towards the direction of the hotel. Yili felt more and more that it wasn't worth it as he walked. The super life potion was a divine medicine, and he just used it like that. What should he say? But since he had already used it, he would have to find an opportunity to go to the Anan base city and ask for treasures. By now it was getting late and Yili decided to call it a day. He found a random place, asked Ada to stand guard and then went to sleep. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining 12 zombie treasure chests. Would you like to open them all at once? Open them. Yili didn't hesitate at all. He had been waiting for the zombie treasure chests for a long time. Obtain 200 gene points, 200 strength points, 200 speed points, 200 defense points. 10 boxes of food and 1 opportunity to obtain zombie enchantment supernatural ability. Ding. Congratulations, host, on becoming a level 7 awakened being. Yili was somewhat delighted. He had jumped from a level 5 awakened being directly to level 7, but it was normal considering the 12 zombie treasure chests. But what was this zombie enchantment supernatural ability? Zombie enchantment supernatural ability. Choose one attribute among strength, speed, or defense to enchant a zombie. Yili was shocked after reading it. He had always wanted to find a female zombie with pre-death abilities to cultivate, and now the opportunity had come. He put the Tier 1 female zombie from the system space into the synthesis grid, then used the zombie enchantment supernatural ability. There were 3 attributes for enchantment: strength, speed, and defense. After thinking for a moment, Yili decided that strength and defense wouldn't be suitable for a female zombie. He chose to enchant the speed attribute, giving the Tier 1 female zombie the speed supernatural ability. He looked at the female zombie in front of him. The Tier 1 zombie already had some intelligence but couldn't speak yet. The higher the level of the zombie, the more attractive it would become. So he wasn't worried. I need to give this female zombie a name. What should I call her? After pondering for a few seconds, Yili nodded and said to the Tier 1 female zombie, from now on, I'll call you Hongya. Ding. Detected host naming a zombie. Obtained 1 treasure chest. Yili didn't think twice and opened the treasure chest. Obtained a fiery red gown set. Yili was startled. Fiery red gown set? Fiery red gown set. Appearance points plus 10. With appearance points plus 10, Hongya should look much better. Immediately Yili couldn't wait to dress Hongya in the fiery red gown set. Wow, Yili was stunned. He could swear that he was truly stunned. Now Hongya was in the fiery red gown with her long hair reaching her waist. Despite the decay on her face, she looked truly beautiful. Hongya? Yili couldn't help but call out, even though he knew Hongya couldn't speak yet. Thinking that as Hongya's level increased, she would become even more beautiful, reaching a point where her skin was flawless and delicate. He couldn't help but imagine how stunningly beautiful she would be. If she were to call him honey? Yili dared not think further. He truly couldn't continue thinking about it. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 21. Yi Li took another look at Ada. Ada was becoming more and more handsome with a height of 1.9 meters, exuding an imposing aura. He was undoubtedly a person whom no one dared to provoke in Tongqing now. However, Yi Li wondered if the guardian scorpion had left or not. He put Ada and Hongyer into the system space, had something to eat, and continued his search for zombies. He arrived at an abandoned factory, which seemed to have been deserted for a long time, covered in weeds and rust. Entering the factory, he found only a dozen male zombies. Yi Li was somewhat disappointed, but it was better than nothing. He synthesized all these dozen zombies. Just as Yi Li was about to leave, he heard a scream, a girl's scream. He hurried in the direction of the sound and found a girl lying on the ground with a cut on her hand, seemingly caused by rusty steel. "Don't catch me, don't catch me." The girl looked at Yi Li in horror and screamed. The girl was quite pretty, about the same age as Yi Li, around 16 or 17. Tears welled up in the corners of the girl's eyes, as if she had been greatly frightened. "What's wrong with you?" Yi Li looked at the girl impatiently and asked. The girl was taken aback by his words, pondered for a few seconds, and then cautiously looked at Yi Li and said, You're not here to take me back, are you?" "Why would I take you back? Do we know each other?" Yi Li wondered if the girl had a mental problem. It would be a shame to see such a beautiful girl like this. The girl breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing his words. "I thought you came to take me back to the White Lotus sect." That statement immediately rang a bell to Yi Li. He instantly knew who the girl was. At the hotel, the four great Vajras said they were looking for Miss Xiaohui. Even with just a little thought, it was easy to figure out that the girl in front of him must be Xiaohui. "You're Xiaohui, right?" Yi Li said slowly. "I am not." The girl quickly shook her head. Yi Li smiled. "Stop pretending. I'm not from the White Lotus sect." Xiaohui looked at Yi Li in shock. For some reason, her intuition told her that Yi Li was not lying, even though this was the first time they had met. "How did you know my name?" Xiaohui curiously asked Yi Li. "I heard it from others." "What are you doing here?" Yi Li asked casually. Xiaohui's pale face turned even paler at his words. "I have no choice. I have to escape." Yi Li was curious about the conflict of interest between Xiaohui and the White Lotus sect. Xiaohui seemed like an ordinary person. "The young master of the White Lotus sect, Bai Wawa, treats me as a sex slave. He wants to refine me, so I had to escape," Xiaohui said directly. "Is Bai Wawa powerful?" Yi Li asked. "He's very powerful, a third-tier evolved being. Once he refines me, he will become a fourth-tier evolved being." No wonder they were looking for Xiaohui. It all made sense now. "Senior, are you also an evolved being?" Xiaohui asked. She had secretly watched Yi Li synthesize the zombies earlier, thinking he was from the White Lotus sect. Overwhelmed by fear, she accidentally cut herself on the rusted iron and fell to the ground. "Am not." Yi Li shook his head. "Senior, I know you must be an evolved being. Can you please save me?" Xiaohui's eyes were filled with a pleading expression. "Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 22. Yi Li looked at the pleading expression in Xiaohui's eyes and thought that no one would believe him even if he told the truth. "I really am not an evolved being and I can't help you." "But Senior, Before Xiaohui could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by Yi Li. "Ananbei City is not far from Tongqing. You can go there," Yi Li said slowly. "But Senior, I'm just an ordinary person and there are so many zombies in Tongqing." Xiaohui meant that if she went to Ananbei City alone, she would definitely be eaten by zombies. Yi Li didn't continue to answer. He slowly walked out of the factory. After a few seconds of hesitation, Xiaohui followed him. "Senior, can you take me to Ananbei City?" Xiaohui pleaded, looking at Yi Li. "No," Yi Li said flatly. After he had transmigrated to this zombie world and not yet obtained the system, Yi Li had seen too much of the fickleness of human nature. What did human lives matter in this world? However, Yi Li thought of when he saved Mei Lin, and he felt a contradiction within himself. After all, he had transmigrated from China and couldn't truly become heartless. Yi Li continued to search for zombies and Xiaohui followed him. "Can you stop following me?" Yi Li stared at Xiaohui and said. "Senior, Xiaohui's fair face was filled with grievances and stubbornness. Roar, roar. Xiaohui heard the sound of zombies and her fair face instantly turned pale. "Senior, zombies." Xiaohui was just an ordinary person and when faced with zombies she was scared. Yi Li gave a faint smile. These zombies were truly like those who ignored the road to heaven and willingly walked into hell. Hundreds of zombies surged forward, and Yili released Ada, the four great Vajras, and Hongya. Upon seeing the sudden appearance of zombies around Yili, Xiaohui was frightened and took a few steps back, looking at Yili in shock. "Senior, there are zombies around you." Yili shook his head inwardly at her words and turned his head to look at Xiaohui. He slowly said, "Don't make a fuss out of it." The following scene made Xiaohui cover her mouth in shock. She was utterly astonished. She saw that the zombies around Yili rushed towards the hundreds of zombies, and in an instant they knocked down all of them. All the hundreds of zombies lost their fighting ability. What's going on? Xiaohui couldn't understand. Weren't zombies supposed to eat humans? Why weren't they attacking Yili instead? Yili synthesized the hundreds of zombies, merging the 5th-level male zombies and 4th-level male zombies in the system space into a 7th-level male zombie. Then he synthesized the 6th, 5th, and 2nd-level female zombies into a 7th-level female zombie. He came up with a plan to quickly upgrade the 9th-level female zombie in the system space to a 1st-tier zombie, and then merge it with Hongya. As for the 4 great Vajras, the gold Vajra was currently an 8th-level zombie, and the other 3 were all 7th-level zombies. He merged the 7th-level male zombie with the silver Vajra, and it became an 8th-level zombie. Although the progress was a bit slow, it was still not bad. When Yili turned around and looked at Xiaohui, he noticed that she seemed frozen. Her eyes were wide open as if she had seen something unimaginable. "Are you surprised?" Yili looked at Xiaohui and said calmly. Xiaohui snapped out of her daze. She didn't know how to answer because she truly didn't know. "Never be surprised because everything I do is enough to astonish you for 3 days and 3 nights. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 23. Xiaohui had seen many evolved beings in the White Lotus sect, but she had never seen someone like Yili. She stared at Yili in a daze, only to find that he remained calm as if nothing had happened. "Senior, do these zombies obey your commands?" Xiaohui asked cautiously while looking at Yili. "What do you think?" Yili replied with a question. Xiaohui was startled by his response and didn't know how to answer. Her mind was in turmoil. She couldn't believe that zombies could obey human commands. "Do you have to follow me?" Yili suddenly asked. "Senior, if I don't follow you, I will definitely die," Xiaohui replied, lowering her head. Yili sighed inwardly and decided to let her do as she pleased. Then Yili began to walk forward, with Xiaohui following closely behind. Xiaohui looked at Yili's slightly thin figure and for some reason, felt a hint of sweetness in her heart. In the fading spring of May, she seemed to have found the love of her life. It had been 5 days since Yili and Xiaohui arrived in the East District of Tongqing. During these 5 days, Yili had merged numerous zombies. The 4 great Vajras were now all 10th-level zombies and were about to become 1st-tier mutant zombies. Moreover, these 4 great Vajras now possessed special abilities, including wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, although their power was yet to be tested. Ada remained a 2nd-tier zombie, and Hongya had reached the 1st tier. It wouldn't be long before Hongya became a 2nd-tier zombie. Yili had also become an 8th-level awakened being and was now a true high-level awakened being. "Senior, you are truly amazing," Xiaohui said, looking at Yili with an admiring expression. Over the past 5 days, her admiration for Yili had reached its peak. Yili remained silent because he knew that he wasn't truly powerful at the moment. Roar! A familiar sound resounded, and Yili sensed a hint of danger. He looked closely and saw a tall zombie wielding a giant axe charging towards him. Most importantly, the eyes of this giant axe zombie were green. "I didn't expect there would be a 1st-tier zombie in Tongqing." As Yili spoke, he released Ada from the system space. "Ada, take down this zombie." Upon Yili's command, Ada rushed towards the giant axe zombie. This giant axe zombie was only a 1st-tier zombie, while Ada was a 2nd-tier zombie. It was clear who was stronger. With the wind whistling around his fist, Ada knocked down the giant axe zombie before it could swing its axe. Roar! Roar! The giant axe zombie struggled to get up from the ground, indicating its intention to continue fighting with Ada. Unfortunately, the power gap between them was too significant. The giant axe zombie was knocked down again by Ada before it could even stand up. The giant axe zombie couldn't get up anymore. Yili put the giant axe zombie into the system space. Ding. Congratulations, host, for obtaining 1 random draw opportunity. At that moment, the voice of the system echoed in Yili's mind. Naturally, Yili chose to draw, and the pointer on the roulette in his mind began to spin. Congratulations, host, for obtaining 1 fusion opportunity x1. Yili was stunned. A fusion opportunity? Fusion opportunity allows to fuse zombies of the same gender into a single zombie. So, you mean the 4 great Vajras can be fused into a single zombie? Yili asked the system. Yes, host, the system replied. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 24. The system's affirmative answer brought a brilliant expression to Yili's face. But what about the special abilities of the 4 great Vajras after the fusion? Yili wondered. The 4 great Vajras possessed the abilities of wind, rain, thunder and lightning, which would be incredibly powerful if they were fused. Don't worry, host. The fused zombie will retain all the abilities, the system assured him. Upon hearing this, Yili felt relieved. Please select the zombies you want to fuse, prompted the system. After pondering for a few seconds, Yili began to make his selection. He thought it would be best to fuse Ada and the 4 great Vajras together because he decided to prioritize cultivating Ada and Hongya. Immediately, Ada, the 4 great Vajras, the giant axe zombie, and several male zombies of different levels began to fuse. The fusion began, 10%, 30%, 60%, 100%. Please choose whose appearance to retain, the system asked. Without hesitation, Yili chose to retain Ada's appearance. Fusion successful. Ada has become a tier 3 zombie. Yili looked at Ada and noticed that he had become even more handsome. As a tier 3 zombie, Ada should be capable of speaking, right? Ada? Yili tentatively called out. Master, Ada respectfully addressed Yili. Oh, he can actually speak. Yili exclaimed in excitement. The fact that Ada addressed him as Master left him at a loss for words to describe his elation. Ada, do you think I'm handsome? Ada didn't continue speaking. Yili felt a bit disappointed but quickly let it go, thinking that a tier 3 zombie would probably only address him as Master. With that in mind, Yili thought he should speed up Hongya's advancement. She would likely become the most beautiful person in this post-apocalyptic world. Alas, she would possess skin as fair as ice and bones as pure as jade, almost free from any trace of sweat. Yili could already envision that day. He checked Ada's attributes. Ada, tier 3 mutated zombie. Weapon, ordinary boxing gloves. Abilities, earth-shattering fist, wind, rain, thunder and lighting. Attribute, strength. A tier 3 zombie's eyes were blue. Yili checked all his zombies. Male zombies, Ada female zombies, Hongya 1 level 7 female zombie 1 level 6 female zombie. Elder, did Ada just speak? Xiaohui asked, astonished. If possible, she would prefer to believe that she had misheard, but obviously she hadn't. A zombie who could speak. Xiaohui had never even heard of such a thing, let alone witnessed it. Is it strange for zombies to speak? Yili replied casually, observing Xiaohui's reaction. In truth, a speaking zombie was not strange at all, but Xiaohui was an ordinary person who had no knowledge of such things. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, a burst of arrogant and unrestrained laughter erupted. Yili fixed his gaze and realized that the one standing before him was none other than Guardian Scorpion. Miss Xiaohui, I finally found you. Guardian Scorpion exclaimed. Xiaohui's face turned pale as she looked at Guardian Scorpion. What should we do, Elder? Xiaohui naturally knew of Guardian Scorpion's strength as a tier 3 evolved being, an overwhelmingly powerful existence. Before Yili could speak, Guardian Scorpion spoke. Brat, you're here too? Guardian Scorpion clearly hadn't expected to find Yili and Xiaohui together. Ha ha ha. Brat, as I said, we would meet again. Guardian Scorpion laughed triumphantly, as if he had emptied a lifetime's worth of laughter in that moment. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 25. Yili looked at the arrogant and unrestrained smile on Guardian Scorpion's face, his jade-like complexion showing some confusion. What are you laughing at? He asked. Guardian Scorpion stopped laughing at the words and his gloomy face turned extremely disdainful. Brat, last time I didn't know what kind of divine medicine you gave that woman which saved your life. But this time that woman isn't here. Let's see how you survive. Yili nodded, understanding that Guardian Scorpion believed he was doomed. Elder, let's run. Xiaohui tugged at Yili's sleeve. She had reached the extreme point of fear. Yili ignored Xiaohui and calmly looked at Guardian Scorpion. Do you really trust your own eyes? Yili slowly spoke to Guardian Scorpion. Guardian Scorpion snorted, his face growing even more contemptuous. Of course I trust my own eyes. You, Before he could finish his sentence, Guardian Scorpion sensed something and couldn't believe what he saw as he looked at Yi Li. "Brat, you've become an advanced awakened being?" Guardian Scorpion remembered very clearly that Yi Li was just an ordinary awakened being last time. But in a short span of a few days, he had become an advanced awakened being. "That's right, so you better run," Yi Li said slowly. "Ha ha ha." Guardian Scorpion burst into laughter again as if he heard the most hilarious joke of his life from birth until now. "Brat, you don't think you can beat me, do you?" Yi Li looked at Guardian Scorpion and shook his head inwardly. He released Ada from the system space. Guardian Scorpion's laughter abruptly stopped. A third-tier zombie. Guardian Scorpion widened his eyes, staring at Ada beside Yi Li. Guardian Scorpion was shocked, unable to comprehend why there would be a third-tier zombie in this small Tongqing. Xiaohui was also shocked. Although she was just an ordinary person having lived in the White Lotus sect for so long, she naturally knew what a third-tier zombie meant. After learning that Ada was a third-tier zombie, Xiaohui relaxed. "Brat, who are you exactly?" Guardian Scorpion stared at Yi Li intently. In his view, Yi Li was just an advanced awakened being, so how could he have a third-tier zombie obeying him? "Do you really want to know who I am?" Yi Li looked at Guardian Scorpion calmly and said. Guardian Scorpion gritted his teeth tightly upon hearing this, but after a few seconds he finally spoke, "Yes." Yi Li pondered for a few seconds and then looked at Guardian Scorpion saying, "I am the one who will kill you." "What did you say?" Guardian Scorpion looked at Yi Li fiercely. "Brat, do you really think that having a third-tier zombie makes you capable of defeating me?" Yi Li smiled faintly. "Have you always been this full of nonsense?" Upon hearing these words, Guardian Scorpion erupted in anger. "Brat, I'll take your life." As he spoke, Guardian Scorpion drew his scorpion tail blade and rushed toward Yi Li. Yi Li's jade-like face remained calm as water, as if he regarded Guardian Scorpion as nothing more than air. "Ada, do you know what to do?" Yi Li asked. Ada naturally knew what to do. Although a third-tier zombie could only speak simple words he could understand. "I know, Master." As the words fell, Ada threw a punch. Boom. The force of this punch made the wind retreat. "So this is the earth-shattering fist?" Yi Li murmured to himself. Guardian Scorpion watched as this invisible punch approached him and quickly dodged left and right. "Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 26 Guardian Scorpion, as a third-tier evolved being, had managed to evade the attack in the end. Impressive, indeed, a third-tier zombie, truly powerful. Guardian Scorpion stared at Ada. He had never encountered a third-stage zombie before. This was the first time. "However, that's all you've got." With his words, Guardian Scorpion raised his scorpion tail blade high and fiercely swung it down. Scorpion tail strike. With a loud shout, a terrifying slash surged toward Ada. Ada's zombified face showed no sign of disturbance as he launched a punch. This punch combined the power of the earth-shattering fist and the force of thunder and lightning, forcefully colliding with the terrifying slash. Boom. A loud explosion rang as the power of thunder and lightning was not neutralized by the scorpion tail strike but continued toward Guardian Scorpion. "What?" Guardian Scorpion was filled with shock and swore he had never been so afraid before. At the critical moment, Guardian Scorpion quickly used his scorpion tail blade to block in front of him. Clang. The high-quality scorpion tail blade shattered into pieces. This. Guardian Scorpion broke into a cold sweat, looking at Ada with extreme terror. "Ada, finish him." At that moment Yi Li gave another order to Ada. Roar. Ada let out a furious roar and darted forward, moving at lightning speed. Guardian Scorpion quickly used all his abilities to escape, reaching the fastest speed he had ever achieved. It was undeniable that Ada was stronger than Guardian Scorpion, but if Guardian Scorpion wanted to escape, Ada couldn't do anything about it. Yi Li felt a bit regretful. If only he could turn Guardian Scorpion into a zombie. "Ada, you're amazing." Xiaohui quickly applauded. Yi Li looked at Xiaohui and slowly spoke, "You seem very happy?" Xiaohui was taken aback. "Senior, isn't this something to be happy about?" Roar. Roar. At this moment, countless zombies surrounded them. Yi Li was stunned, looking at the zombies coming from all directions. There were just too many zombies in this wave. Suddenly he had a feeling that these were all the zombies in Tongqing. Tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. At this moment Yi Li had only one thought, to escape. No matter how powerful Ada is, he can't defeat so many zombies. Run. When Yi Li uttered the word run, Xiao Hu's face was still filled with joy. She thought that Yi Li must be very happy this time with so many zombies here. But when Xiao Hui turned her head, she realized that Yi Li had already run several tens of steps away. Ah! Xiao Hui burst into tears immediately. Yi Li turned around and saw Xiao Hui still standing there, crying. Helpless, he went back and grabbed Xiao Hu's hand, then they ran together. Yi Li thought to himself, women are troublesome, but what can I do? I can't run anymore, senior. I'm exhausted, Xiao Hui said, panting heavily. If you don't want to be eaten by zombies, keep running, Yi Li said fiercely. They'll just let them eat me. I'm so tired, I'll die from exhaustion. Xiao Hui replied, gasping for breath. Now it was Yi Li dragging Xiao Hui along as they ran. Senior, I'm about to die. Xiao Hui directly squatted on the ground, looking exhausted. Yi Li was about to say something when he noticed that the zombies were already close. There was no other way, so he had to carry Xiao Hui on his back and continue running. Senior, I feel so secure on your back. Yi Li was speechless, truly speechless. Was this woman brainless, with negative intelligence? He remembered Xiao Hui telling him that the young master of the White Lotus sect, Bai Wawa, used her as a tool, believing that by refining her she could become a fourth-tier evolved being. But with such intelligence, how could she be so useful? Yi Li couldn't help but doubt Bai Wawa's intelligence. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 27. Yi Li ran into a residential area and entered a room. With all the twists and turns, the zombies were bewildered and started searching for Yi Li in different directions. Yi Li placed Xiao Hui on the sofa, and only then did she catch her breath. Senior, if it weren't for you, I think I would have been dead by now. Xiao Hui said, looking at Yi Li. Do you have any intelligence at all? Yi Li stared at Xiao Hui and said impatiently. Senior, I do have intelligence. I always ranked first in my primary and middle school exams. Xiao Hui sweetly replied. Yi Li surrendered, he truly surrendered. He didn't plan on continuing the conversation with Xiao Hui because it would only infuriate him further. Yi Li walked to the window and discovered that the streets were filled with zombies. Going out at this moment would not be a wise decision. Senior, I'm hungry. Xiao Hui looked at Yi Li with some embarrassment. She was both hungry and thirsty. Yi Li thought to himself, what did I owe her in my previous life? I saved her life, but now I still have to feed her? But Yi Li still took out a box of food from the system space. Xiao Hu's eyes lit up as she looked at the food. Her expression as a food lover was evident. Xiao Hui started eating and drinking, but Yi Li had no appetite. He couldn't understand why there were suddenly so many zombies. Could it be? Yi Li thought of a possibility. There might be a powerful zombie commanding all these others. Suddenly Yi Li realized how astonishing this possibility was. If he could find that zombie and synthesize it, wouldn't that be amazing? With this in mind, Yi Li made a decision. He had to find the big boss of Tongqing. Senior, what's that? Xiao Hui pointed to something. Her fair face displayed surprise. Yi Li followed Xiao Hu's finger and saw a rusty knife. After a brief inspection, he found it uninteresting. It was just a rusty, broken knife. Ding. Dragon-slaying blade detected. Host, please pick it up. The system's words startled Yi Li. He looked at the rusty knife in front of him in disbelief. System, are you saying this is the dragon-slaying blade? Yi Li couldn't believe it. How could this rusty knife be the dragon-slaying blade? Dragon-slaying blade? Wasn't it a legendary knife in a martial arts novel? But this was not a martial arts world but a zombie world. Host, this is indeed the dragon-slaying blade, although it has become a piece of scrap iron. However, it can be combined with other weapons. The system's words surprised Yi Li. So, it really was the dragon-slaying blade, and could weapons be synthesized too? Yi Li picked up the dragon-slaying blade. The rusty knife was in terrible condition. Then Yi Li opened the synthesis grid in his mind and found the dragon-slaying blade inside. It can actually be synthesized. Yi Li's face showed excitement as he dragged the steel-cutting knife onto the dragon-slaying blade. Confirmed synthesis? Confirmed. Dragon-slaying blade, one of the 10 great divine artifacts. Legend has it that collecting all 10 divine artifacts allows one to discover a great hidden treasure. Yi Li didn't expect such a twist. This was getting interesting. After synthesizing the dragon-slaying blade with the steel-cutting knife, the rust on the dragon-slaying blade diminished, but it was still not presentable. System, the dragon-slaying blade is still unusable at the moment, right? Yes, host. But I advise you not to expose the dragon-slaying blade, or else you might get into trouble. Yili nodded, understanding the system's meaning. Could it be? Yili suddenly thought of something. Could it be that these zombies are also looking for the dragon-slaying blade? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 28. Yili thought that the secret of the dragon-slaying blade must not be leaked, or else he would become a target of everyone. Without much hesitation, he stored the dragon-slaying blade in the system space. Senior, with so many zombies outside, why don't we hide in the Anan Bay city? Yili shook his head slowly. It was true that there were many zombies outside, but couldn't he engage in a guerrilla war? You stay here. Yili looked at Xiao Hui. Senior, I can't stay alone. Xiao Hui was afraid that Yili would leave her behind and quickly expressed her concern. Yili released Hongye and instructed her to protect Xiao Hui. Then he left. As he arrived below the residential building, there were indeed a lot of zombies. Yili looked around and discovered a narrow pass. This narrow pass was enough for one man to hold off 10,000 enemies. Seeing this pass, Yili knew that this time he was going to make a fortune. Without much thought, he released the level 7 female zombie and the level 6 female zombie with the aim of attracting more zombies. The level 7 female zombie and the level 6 female zombie were both high-level zombies and absolute kings among the ordinary zombies. He and Ada went to the narrow pass and waited. Soon, the two female zombies attracted a lot of zombies. As the zombies saw Yili, they rushed towards him like starving ghosts. Roar roar. Yili estimated that there were probably over 1,000 zombies in this wave. Ada stood at the pass and a strong wind surged. This was Ada's ability, the power of the wind. Boom. Ada unleashed the earth-shattering fist that was enhanced with the power of thunder and lightning, causing hundreds of zombies to fall. Yili began synthesizing. His virtual fingers rapidly slid through the synthesis grid in his mind, displaying incredible speed. The synthesized zombies were all level 2 zombies and they attacked the other zombies. In no time, Yili successfully synthesized all these zombies into level 2 zombies. At that moment, Yili suddenly had an idea. That was to launch a counterattack. Thinking about it, Yili's face lit up with excitement. Soon Yili led Ada and over 500 level 2 zombies to roam around recklessly, asserting their dominance in the East District of Tongqing. They knocked down any zombies they encountered and synthesized them. Before long, the number of level 2 zombies exceeded 1,000. To Yili's regret, it seemed like these zombies were starting to fear him. They had vanished without a trace. Until now, Yili realized how foolish he had been. Why hadn't he thought of this method before? However, he knew that Tongqing was just a small city, and most of the zombies here were only level 1. If he went to a big city, the outcome might be different. With over 2,000 zombies of both genders, Yili synthesized them into a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. With a fruitful harvest, Yili returned to the residential area. As he reached the door, Yili knocked. No one is inside. Stop knocking. Xiao Hu's frightened voice came from inside. When Yili heard this, there were no words to describe his speechlessness. Was this the same person who used to be the top student in elementary and middle school exams? It's me, Yili said. Shortly after, the door opened. Senior, I thought it was a zombie. I was so scared. Xiao Hui sighed with relief. Yili was speechless as he walked in and looked at Hongye. Since Hongye put on the fiery red dress, she became stunningly beautiful. However, Yili wondered when the zombified features on her face would fade away. He opened the synthesis grid in his mind and synthesized the Tier 1 female zombie with Hongye. Are you sure you want to proceed with the synthesis? Yes, I'm sure. After the synthesis, Hongye advanced to Tier 2. Yili looked at Hongye and noticed that the zombified features on her face had diminished significantly, revealing a more refined appearance. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 29. Xiao Hui blinked her eyes and carefully observed Hongye. Senior, has Sister Hongye become more beautiful? Xiao Hui wondered how she suddenly became much prettier. She will become even more beautiful, Yili said slowly. Yili and Xiao Hui spent a long night together in the room. The next day as the sun rose, ding, obtained 4 zombie chests. Yili opened the zombie chest with a single click. Obtained 10 gene points, 10 strength points, 10 speed points, 10 defense points, and a box of food. Obtained 15 gene points, 15 strength points, 15 speed points, 15 defense points, and a box of food. Obtained 30 gene points, 30 strength points, 30 speed points, 30 defense points, and 3 boxes of food. Obtained 50 gene points, 50 strength points, 50 speed points, 50 defense points, 5 boxes of food and frost chi. Frost chi. Yi Li checked the properties of frost chi. Frost chi, D-grade magic, exclusive skill for zombies. After upgrading to S-grade it can freeze everything. Yi Li thought that opening treasure chests was indeed enjoyable, always leaving him with anticipation. He fused frost chi into Hongye's body, giving her a special ability for zombies. Then Yi Li opened the attribute panel. Host, Yi Li. System, Super Synthesis System. Age, 21 years old. Level, 9th level awakened being. Weapon, Dragon Slaying Blade, Raised Zombies, Ada Hongye. Genes, B grade. After opening the zombie chests, Yi Li upgraded from an 8th level awakened being to a 9th level awakened being, and his genes upgraded from C level to B level. The color of the energy of a warrior with B-level genes was black. Although he now had Ada and Hongye, he knew that his own strength was the most important since it was the dark race that turned humans into zombies. Yi Li believed that a small place like Tongqing wouldn't have the dark race. If he wanted to encounter them he would have to go to other places. Without much thought Yi Li prepared to go out again. Ever since he rampaged through the east district of Tongqing with thousands of level 2 zombies, he had become fond of this method. "Senior, can you take me with you?" Xiao Hui looked at Yi Li with a pleading face. She really wanted to go with him. Yi Li felt somewhat helpless. He just didn't know how to deal with this woman. But considering there shouldn't be any danger, he agreed to let her go along. Soon Yi Li and Xiao Hui arrived on the street. He released Ada Hongye, the level 7 female zombie, and the level 6 female zombie to attract zombies. Yi Li sat under a tree casually playing with his own fingers. "Senior, aren't you going to fight zombies?" Xiao Hui curiously asked, looking at Yi Li. "Wait a little longer." Yi Li replied calmly. After a while, Ada Hongye, the level 7 female zombie, and the level 6 female zombie successfully attracted a horde of zombies. There were probably thousands of them. Roar, roar. The zombie horde was roaring and approaching like a hurricane, uprooting everything on their way. Ada Hongye, the level 7 female zombie, and the level 6 female zombie attracted the horde of zombies over. So many zombies. Xiao Hui looked fearfully at the scene before her. She quickly glanced at Yi Li and noticed his calm and composed expression. Seeing this, Xiao Hui felt relieved. She had always believed that Yi Li was an omnipotent person. "Take action." Yi Li suddenly gave the command. With Yi Li's order, Ada Hongye, the level 7 female zombie, and the level 6 female zombie began to take action. "Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 30. Ada unleashed the earth-shattering fist, incorporating the power of wind, clouds, thunder and lightning into it. This punch was terrifyingly powerful. Boom! Instantly, countless zombies fell to the ground. Hongye moved swiftly, using the frost chi to freeze dozens of zombies. The level 7 female zombie and the level 6 female zombie were both advanced zombies and naturally much stronger than these ordinary zombies. Yi Li began synthesizing zombies in his mind synthesis grid. As a single man for over 20 years, with his incredible hand speed, he quickly synthesized over 300 level 2 zombies in a short period. Over 300 level 2 zombies started to counterattack, causing the horde of zombies to retreat. Before long, Yi Li had synthesized over 600 level 2 zombies. Yi Li glanced and realized that he had synthesized all the zombies. Roar! At that moment, a zombie's roar reached Yi Li's ears. Yi Li turned around and saw a level 5 zombie biting Xiao Hui's arm. Seeing this, Yi Li's eyes turned red. He didn't know why he was so furious at this moment, but he felt an immense anger rising within him. Immediately, Yi Li leaped forward and landed a powerful punch on the head of the level 5 zombie. The level 5 zombie's head exploded from the impact and fell to the ground. "Senior, am I going to turn into a zombie?" Xiao Hui's face was pale and she looked weakly at Yi Li. "Senior, I don't want to become a zombie. I don't want to." Yi Li didn't know how to respond. Once bitten by a zombie, what else could be done besides turning into one? "Host, there is actually a way to prevent Xiao Hui from turning into a zombie." The voice of the system suddenly sounded in Yi Li's mind. "What way?" Yi Li eagerly asked, feeling like he had grasped a lifeline. "It requires the host and Xiao Hui to engage in certain intimate activities." The system's meaning was obvious. How could he not understand what it meant? Yi Li looked at Xiao Hui and noticed her face starting to show signs of zombification. Only now did he realize that he had unconsciously developed feelings for Xiao Hui. Love, it could be complicated or simple. In the end it was just 3 words. It's either I love you, I hate you, or let it go, or I'm sorry. At this point, it had reached a critical moment. Yili didn't think much and started with Xiao Hui. 10 seconds later. Yili looked at Xiao Hui. The signs of zombification had disappeared from her face, and the wound on her arm had healed. Yili understood that he had immunity to the zombie virus, and by engaging in such activities he could transfer this immunity to Xiao Hui. Senior, just now did we? Xiao Hui's face blushed like a ripe apple and she looked so shy. Yes, it's exactly what you think, Yili said awkwardly. 10 seconds, just 10 seconds. Huh. Xiao Hui suddenly froze. She looked at her arm and realized that the wound caused by the zombie bite had disappeared. Senior, the wound is gone. Xiao Hui exclaimed. You won't turn into a zombie now, Yili slowly said. Really? Xiao Hui still hadn't fully recovered from the sudden happiness. Hooray! Finally, Xiao Hui reacted and threw herself into Yili's arms. I'm sorry, Senior. I didn't mean to. Xiao Hui quickly took a few steps back and lowered her head. Yili thought to himself, although this girl is a bit airhead, she's still incredibly adorable. How can someone be this cute? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 31. Yili found Xiao Hui incredibly cute, who had melted his heart. He had thought that he would never like a woman with such low intelligence, but now he realized not only was he wrong, but he was completely wrong. Senior, should we continue to fight zombies now? Xiao Hui blinked her eyes and asked Yili. Yili nodded and led more than 600 level 2 zombies to continue their dominance. Tongqing was filled with ordinary zombies. These zombies, upon seeing Yili and Xiao Hui, recklessly rushed over without regard for their lives, although they were already the living dead. After a day of synthesis, Yili created a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Returning to the residential area, Yili took out a box of food from the system space, and he and Xiao Hui began to eat and drink. Hongya was now a Tier 2 zombie and would soon become a Tier 3 zombie. In this way, Yili and Xiao Hui spent 3 more days in the East District of Tongqing. During these 3 days he finally synthesized a Tier 2 female zombie. He dragged the Tier 2 female zombie to Hongya, and Hongya became a Tier 3 zombie. Hongya's appearance had improved yet again. Senior, Sister Hongya is even more beautiful now. Xiao Hui couldn't believe her eyes as she looked at Hongya. Now Hongya's face had less decay and it became more delicate. As a Tier 4 zombie she had blue eyes. Hongya's eyes were like sapphires, almost blinding to look at. Call me Master. Yili looked at Hongya. A master. Hongya's voice was still stiff as she had just learned to speak. Congratulations to the host for synthesizing a Tier 3 zombie. The host has obtained a super treasure chest. Would you like to open it? Open it. Gene points x50, strength points x50, speed points x50, defense points x50, steel swords x3, zombie berserk x2. Congratulations to the host for becoming a level 10 awakened being. Advancing 1 more level he would become a rank 1 evolved being. Yili was indeed looking forward to it. Steel sword, a weapon made of steel. Zombie berserk. Increases a zombie's combat power by 10 times for 10 minutes. Yili thought to himself that zombie berserk was a good thing, but the steel swords were not that impressive. He synthesized the 3 steel swords with the dragon-slaying blade, and the recovery progress of the dragon-slaying blade reached 8%. Senior, Sister Hongya also called you Master just now. Does it mean Hongya can say more things now? Hongya am Xiao Hui. Xiao Hui looked at Hongya, hoping that Hongya would call her too. Unfortunately, Hongya didn't even look at Xiao Hui. Xiao Hui felt disappointed. Senior, why doesn't Sister Hongya call me? Yili shook his head inwardly. Hongya was my zombie and she's only at Tier 3. How can she call you? At this moment, it was already dusk and there were no zombies on the street. It was unusually quiet. Yili looked out of the window and unexpectedly saw a few humans, all of whom seemed to be genetic warriors. These humans were dressed in white robes with 3 blood-red characters on them. White Lotus Sect. To Yili's surprise, these few White Lotus Sect warriors were actually heading towards the residential area. Seeing this, a faint smile formed on the corner of Yili's mouth, revealing a wicked expression on his face. In his eyes, these White Lotus Sect warriors were simply walking to their own demise. You stay here, I'll go out for a moment. Yi Li instructed Hongye to protect Xiao Hui. Before Xiao Hui could ask any further questions, Yi Li walked out. When he reached the third floor, Yi Li heard footsteps. Instead of continuing downstairs, he sat down on the stairs. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 32. Yi Li had only been sitting on the stairs for a short while when 3 White Lotus Sect genetic warriors approached. These 3 White Lotus Sect genetic warriors were startled. They never expected to find someone sitting on the stairs. Yi Li also took a look at the 3 individuals and noticed that they were all first-rank evolved beings. In Tongqing, being a first-rank evolved being was considered quite powerful, and there were 3 of them. Unfortunately for them, they had encountered Yi Li. "Brat, what are you doing sitting here?" "I'm waiting for someone." "Waiting? Waiting for whom?" "Waiting for you." Yi Li looked at the 3 White Lotus Sect genetic warriors and spoke slowly. The 3 White Lotus Sect warriors were taken aback by his words. They didn't understand why Yi Li was waiting for them. Could it be that this brat had some deep grudge against the White Lotus Sect? But no matter how they looked at it, Yi Li was just a high-level awakened being. They were first-rank evolved beings and naturally had the ability to easily kill a high-level awakened being. "Brat, why are you waiting for us?" one of the White Lotus Sect genetic warriors shouted. Yi Li's face remained calm, showing no signs of disturbance. "Are you looking for someone named Xiao Hui?" Yi Li asked calmly. Upon hearing this, the 3 individuals were once again surprised. "Brat, do you know where Miss Xiao Hui is?" asked one of the White Lotus Sect genetic warriors. "Of course," Yi Li replied slowly. "So," an ugly-looking man looked at Yi Li and after a few seconds he said, "So you're waiting here to take us to see Miss Xiao Hui?" Yi Li smiled. "I think he'll take you to another place instead." "What place?" the 3 men asked, puzzled. "The Gate of Hell." Yi Li enunciated each word without hesitation. As he said so, Ada suddenly appeared, throwing a punch infused with the power of thunder and lightning. The fist wind roared. These 3 White Lotus Sect genetic warriors were all first-rank evolved beings and couldn't withstand a punch from Ada. One of the White Lotus Sect genetic warriors was instantly punched through and lost his life forever. The remaining 2 were filled with terror, wanting to escape. They truly wanted to run away. Unfortunately, how could they escape? Ada knocked them down one after another, and the fate of these 2 White Lotus Sect genetic warriors was gruesome. These 3 individuals were already dead and couldn't turn into zombies. But it didn't matter. When genetic warriors turned into zombies, their levels would most likely drop and they would end up as 7th or 8th level zombies at most. Yi Li were of no interest to zombies of such levels at the moment. Yi Li believed that the White Lotus Sect wouldn't send only these few first-rank evolved beings. They must be scattered, searching for Xiao Hui in different directions. But he wasn't afraid of the White Lotus Sect now. Ada and Hongye were both third-tier zombies and possessed special abilities. Moreover, he now had Zombie Berserk X2. In an emergency, Ada and Hongye each had one. However, this was not a long-term solution. Yi Li didn't know the true strength of the White Lotus Sect, and it was dangerous for Xiao Hui to stay with him. Since that's the case, Yi Li decided to send Xiao Hui to Anan Base City. After all, Anan Base City was a fortified city and wouldn't fear a small White Lotus Sect. Then Yi Li returned to the room and looked at Xiao Hui saying, "I will take you to Anan Base City tomorrow." "What's wrong, senior?" Xiao Hui didn't understand why Yi Li suddenly wanted to send her to Anan Base City. "Didn't you always want to go there?" Yi Li looked at Xiao Hui and asked in return. "Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 33. Xiao Hui looked at Yi Li's face. When she first met Yi Li, she did want him to take her to Anan Base City. But after spending so many days together, she had grown accustomed to being with Yi Li and no longer wanted to go to Anan Base City. Besides, she had also done those things with Yi Li. "Senior, I want to be with you." Xiao Hui mustered up her courage and said those words. However, Yi Li shook his head. "The White Lotus Sect is looking for you now. It would be dangerous for you to stay by my side." But, Xiao Hui didn't finish her words before Yi Li interrupted her. "There's no need to say any more. I've already decided to take you to Anan Base City." Yi Li looked at Xiao Hui and said. Upon hearing this, Xiao Hui's fair face became desolate. She knew that she had no power to refute Yi Li's decision. The next day, Yi Li opened the zombie treasure chests and then took Xiao Hui to the streets. Today, the streets were unusually quiet, with no zombies in sight. Yi Li wondered if he had already dealt with all the zombies in the East District of Tongqing. According to Yi Li's knowledge, There were several 100 billion humans in this world, and 70% of them had turned into zombies. One could imagine how massive the number of zombies would be. Senior, are we really going to Annan Bay City? Xiao Hui looked pitifully at Yi Li, hoping to stay by his side. Brat Miss Xiao Hui, you have finally shown yourselves. A sudden loud shout reached Yi Li's ears. He followed the voice and looked up to see 5 people standing on the 6th floor of a building. These 5 people were all dressed in white robes, with the 3 blood-red characters of the White Lotus sect embroidered on their robes. And leading them was Guardian Scorpion. Swish, swish, swish. Several piercing sounds echoed as Guardian Scorpion and the 4 White Lotus sect genetic warriors jumped down, landing about 10 steps away from Yi Li. Except for Guardian Scorpion, the remaining 4 were all first-rank evolved beings. At this moment, Guardian Scorpion had a gloating expression on his face. In his opinion, Yi Li was already dead meat. Brat, you didn't expect to encounter me again, did you? Guardian Scorpion sneered at Yi Li. Yes, I indeed didn't expect that. I didn't expect that you would come to your own death, Yi Li replied calmly. Upon hearing these words, Guardian Scorpion's face instantly darkened. He couldn't understand why, even in this situation, Yi Li could remain so indifferent. Brat, where is your 3rd-tier zombie? Why don't you call it out? Guardian Scorpion coldly shouted. Now Yi Li was just alone, merely a small advanced awakened being, nothing worth mentioning in his eyes. Yi Li shook his head. Why did Guardian Scorpion enjoy being slapped in the face so much? Was being slapped in the face really that enjoyable? Do you really want to see my strength? Yi Li looked at Guardian Scorpion calmly. Since the last time when Yi Li had let Ada beat up Guardian Scorpion and made him flee for his life, Xiao Hui knew that Yi Li was almost invincible now. She was no longer afraid of the White Lotus sect. Brat, at this point, why are you still pretending? You're just a small advanced awakened being. Display your strength? I suggest you stop pretending and just come to your death. Guardian Scorpion sneered at Yi Li. Ha ha. After speaking, Guardian Scorpion, along with the 4 White Lotus sect genetic warriors, burst into laughter. As the saying goes, one reaped what one sowed. Since Guardian Scorpion was determined to court death, Yi Li had no choice but to grant his wish. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 34 Guardian Scorpion swore that he had never felt this triumphant in his entire life. If it were any other advanced awakened being, they would probably be scared to the point of wetting themselves when facing him. But Yi Li made him suffer time and time again. How could he, a dignified guardian of the White Lotus sect, bear with it? But now things were different. He could finally seek revenge. Come on, brat. Let me kill you. Guardian Scorpion beckoned with his finger towards Yi Li. Yi Li smiled faintly. Come out, Ada and Hongya. Immediately, Ada and Hongya emerged from the system space. What? Seeing this scene, Guardian Scorpion and the 4 genetic warriors of the White Lotus sect couldn't help but gasp in shock. They stared wide-eyed at Ada and Hongya. Ada and Hongya both had blue eyes, both were 3rd-tier zombies. Guardian Scorpion's heart was filled with shock. The last time he only saw Ada, but he could never have imagined that Yi Li actually had 2 3rd-tier zombies. The 4 genetic warriors of the White Lotus sect were so scared that they lost their wits. 3rd-tier zombies, these are 3rd-tier zombies. They were only first-rank evolved beings, facing 2 3rd-tier zombies. They were like ants. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. Guardian Scorpion quickly begged Yi Li for mercy. Yi Li sneered inwardly. After all, Guardian Scorpion was a 3rd-tier evolved being. Why did he have no demeanor of the strong at all? Indeed, surviving in the post-apocalyptic world was not easy. Compared to life, dignity was not important at all. Unfortunately, you repeatedly courted death. If I don't let you die, then I wouldn't be Yi Li, he said calmly. As he spoke, Yi Li gave orders to Ada and Hongya. Turn them all into zombies. Ada and Hongya flew out, and Hongya was incredibly fast. When Yi Li chose zombie attributes for Hongya, he chose the speed attribute. In an instant, the 4 genetic warriors of the White Lotus sect were frozen by Hongya's frost chi. Seeing this, Guardian Scorpion tried desperately to escape. But how could Ada and Hongya let him? Guardian Scorpion was surrounded by Ada and Hongya, and he could only draw his scorpion tail knife. Unfortunately, Guardian Scorpion stood no chance against Ada and Hongya alone. Suddenly, Ada and Hongya attacked. Yi Li, our White Lotus sect's junior leader by Wawa, has already arrived in Tongqing. If you dare do anything to me, you... Guardian Scorpion let out a heart-wrenching scream. Xiao Hui quickly covered her ears. The sound of such a scream was truly hair-raising. Third-tier zombies bit quickly, not to mention two third-tier zombies. Guardian Scorpion instantly turned into a zombie. Yili took a look and saw that Guardian Scorpion had become a second-tier zombie. There was nothing he could do. When a genetic warrior turned into a zombie, their level would definitely regress. Hongya also turned the 4 frozen White Lotus sect genetic warriors into zombies. All 4 became 8th level zombies. Yili synthesized them into a 10th level zombie. After putting them into the system space, Yili thought about the last sentence Guardian Scorpion said before turning into a zombie. Bai Wawa arrived in Tongqing? Yili had heard Xiao Hui mention it. If Bai Wawa assimilated Xiao Hui, he would become a 4th rank evolved being. That meant Bai Wawa was currently only a 3rd rank evolved being. As a 3rd rank evolved being, Yili was naturally not afraid of him. Senior, did you turn Guardian Scorpion into a zombie? Xiao Hui looked at Yili and asked. Yes. Yili nodded. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 35. Xiao Hui blinked her eyes, and a hint of joy appeared on her fair face. But immediately Xiao Hui seemed to remember something and her face became a little fearful. Senior, just now Guardian Scorpion said that Bai Wawa has come to Tongqing. Xiao Hui looked at Yili and said. Bai Wawa was the junior leader of the White Lotus sect, a 3rd rank evolved being, just a step away from becoming a 4th rank evolved being. Are you afraid of him? Yili looked at Xiao Hui and asked. Xiao Hui quickly nodded and whispered, when I was in the White Lotus sect, he was the one I feared the most. Yili chuckled inwardly. If he hadn't encountered Bai Wawa, it would have been fine. But if he did, he would show Bai Wawa what true terror meant. Let's go, Yili said. With that, Yili and Xiao Hui continued their journey towards Ananbei City. There was still some distance between Ananbei City and Tongqing. Yili and Xiao Hui were currently still in the East District of Tongqing. Strangely, there wasn't a single zombie on the entire road. The cawing of crows could be heard from time to time, sending shivers down one's spine. Hee hee, Miss Xiao Hui, we had a hard time finding you. A coquettish voice sounded, and Yili followed the voice to see a woman sitting on a tree not far away on the left. The woman wore a white robe and had a voluptuous figure, with a hint of fox-like charm. Guardian Fox, Xiao Hui said in a frightened tone as she looked at the woman. Yili observed Guardian Fox. Like Guardian Scorpion, she was also a 3rd rank evolved being. Suddenly, Guardian Fox moved swiftly and appeared in front of Yili. Boy, you're quite handsome, but being handsome alone is useless. You need to be strong. You're just a high-level awakened being. I don't suppose you're thinking of being a hero and saving the beauty, are you? Hee hee. Guardian Fox was taken aback, unable to understand why Yili was still laughing. Why are you laughing, boy? Guardian Fox looked at Yili in confusion. Do you know how disgusting you are? Yili slowly spoke to Guardian Fox. What did you say? Guardian Fox widened her eyes, feeling as if she had misheard. Yili laughed again and after a few seconds he continued, so, not only are you disgusting in appearance but you're also deaf. Guardian Fox couldn't react for a moment. As one of the esteemed guardians of the White Lotus sect, who would dare to say that she was disgusting in appearance? You say I'm disgusting? Guardian Fox simply couldn't believe what she was hearing. Do you think you're not disgusting? Yili retorted. Good, very good. Guardian Fox coldly replied. If you insist on seeking death, then I'll grant your wish. As she spoke, Guardian Fox struck out with a palm, unleashing a red heart-shaped attack towards Yili. When Guardian Fox struck out with this palm, she wore a cold smile. She wanted to make Yili understand that the only fate for those who offended her was death. However, Guardian Fox was destined to be disappointed because 2 figures appeared in front of Yili. To be precise, 2 zombies appeared. Both of these zombies had blue eyes. Just as the heart-shaped attack was about to reach Yili, it suddenly froze. Guardian Fox saw the situation and quickly retreated more than 10 meters. 3rd-tier zombies? Guardian Fox widened her eyes. She couldn't have imagined that there would be 2 3rd-tier zombies in front of Yili. Moreover, these 2 3rd-tier zombies seemed to be on the same side as this brat. Guardian Fox couldn't believe it. She truly couldn't believe that this was real. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 36. With her experience, she had never seen or even heard of such a thing before. Ada, Hongya, take care of her. Yili gave the command to Ada and Hongya. As the command was given, Ada and Hongye rushed forward. He would never give any special care to beautiful women, especially in the post-apocalyptic world. The attacks from Ada and Hongye were overwhelming for Guardian Fox to defend against. Just as Ada's punch was about to hit Guardian Fox, a child suddenly appeared in front of her. This child blocked Ada's punch and took Guardian Fox to a relatively safe distance. Ada, Hongye, wait. Ada and Hongye stopped and returned to Yi Li's side. Yi Li observed the child next to Guardian Fox. The child had unnaturally white skin, resembling a porcelain doll, and looked very adorable. Bai Wawa! Xiao Hui exclaimed in panic. Yi Li was slightly taken aback by her words. He originally thought that Bai Wawa was just a name, but he didn't expect the White Lotus X junior leader to be such a young child. Xiao Hui, it's been a while. Feels like ages since we last met. Bai Wawa grinned at Xiao Hui. You? Xiao Hui's face turned ghastly pale. Yi Li gave Xiao Hui a reassuring smile, telling her not to be afraid. So, you're the Yi Li mentioned by Guardian Scorpion? Bai Wawa narrowed his eyes and asked Yi Li. Yes, young one. Yi Li nodded. Young one? I'm much older than you, okay? Bai Wawa smiled innocently, but there was a hint of viciousness in his eyes. Yi Li understood upon hearing Bai Wawa's words. He had thought that Bai Wawa was really just a child, but it seemed that he had some kind of rejuvenation secret technique. If Bai Wawa was truly only 7 or 8 years old, possessing such genetic talents, he would be an incredible existence. Xiao Hui, come back with me. You have only one fate, to be assimilated by me. Bai Wawa said with a smile. No, I want. Xiao Hui shook her head hurriedly. It was evident that Bai Wawa had caused significant psychological trauma to her. I've already told you, you have only one fate. Why don't you believe it? Bai Wawa shook his head. Yi Li smiled. Bai Wawa, it seems you don't take me, Yi Li, seriously? Bai Wawa was puzzled by Yi Li's words. You're just a minor awakened being. Why should I take you seriously? All right. You still have 2 third-tier zombies. But Guardian Fox and I are both third-rank evolved beings. Do you think you have a chance of winning? Bai Wawa looked at Yi Li playfully. Of course. Yi Li said calmly. Upon hearing this, Bai Wawa clenched his teeth and shouted, what if I add another third-rank evolved being? Guardian Tiger, come out. As the words fell, a middle-aged man walked over slowly. The man had tiger patterns on his face, giving off a domineering aura. Another third-rank evolved being. Brat, do you still think you have a chance now? Bai Wawa stared at Yi Li. Not enough. Yi Li shook his head slowly. Brat, I see that you won't shed tears until you see your own coffin. Bai Wawa was furious like never before. I, Yi Li, won't shed tears even when I see my coffin because I'll never see my coffin. Yi Li said indifferently. Bai Wawa, upon hearing these words, burst into a rage. What if I add another third-rank evolved being? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 37. As he said so, another rank 3 guardian appeared. He was also a middle-aged man with a ferocious wolf pattern on his face. With Bai Wawa, there were a total of 4 rank 3 evolved beings on Bai Wawa's side. On Yi Li's side, Ada and Hongye were tier 3 zombies. With 4 against 2, it seemed that Yi Li's side was bound to lose. Now what, brat? Bai Wawa stared at Yi Li. Bai Wawa didn't believe that Yi Li wasn't afraid. From the bottom of his heart, he believed that Yi Li was just pretending to be calm. It's still not enough. Yi Li shook his head slowly again. Brat, you. Bai Wawa's eyes turned red with anger as he stared at Yi Li. I guess you have one more guardian, right? Yi Li said casually. Brat, have you encountered Guardian Scorpion? Guardian Fox looked at Yi Li in confusion, asking. Not only did I encounter him, but I also turned him into a zombie, Yi Li responded. What? As soon as he said these words, Bai Wawa and the 3 White Lotus Guardians were all stunned. Brat, you turned Guardian Scorpion into a zombie? Bai Wawa stared at Yi Li. You don't believe it? Yi Li shrugged. Of course I don't believe it. Bai Wawa said coldly. Yi Li curled his lips, thinking that since you don't believe it, then let me show you. Immediately, Yi Li released Guardian Scorpion from the system space. Bai Wawa and his group were astonished when they saw this. They would rather believe that the sky was about to fall than believe that Yi Li had turned Guardian Scorpion into a zombie. How did he do that? Junior leader, stop wasting time with this brat. We have an absolute advantage. Just kill this brat and take Miss Xiao Hui back, Guardian Tiger said to Bai Wawa. Bai Wawa thought to himself, Yes, why should I waste time talking nonsense with a minor awakened being? Attack! Bai Wawa shouted coldly. Guardian Tiger, Guardian Wolf and Guardian Fox rushed forward, their speed astonishingly fast. With 3 rank 3 evolved beings, they indeed had an absolute numerical advantage, but unfortunately they overlooked one thing. This one thing was enough to cost them their lives. Fuse. Yili fused Zombie Berserk X2 into Ada and Hongya respectively. After the fusion of Zombie Berserk, their combat power would increase tenfold within 10 minutes. At this moment, red spiritual light wrapped around Ada and Hongya, making them look extremely intimidating. Boom! Ada unleashed the earth-shattering fist, enhanced by wind, rain, thunder and lightning. This punch seemed to shatter the space itself. Hongya moved with incredible speed, attacking with her frost chi. A tier 3 zombie with 10 times enhanced combat power was undeniably terrifying. Guardian Tiger, Guardian Wolf and Guardian Fox wanted to retreat, but it was already too late. I'm done. Ah. After being frozen by Hongya's frost chi, the 3 of them were then shattered into pieces by Ada's punch. Seeing this scene, Bai Wawa was terrified and quickly fled. In an instant he disappeared without a trace. Yili did not choose to pursue him. He could have chased after him, but there was no need. At this point Xiao Hui was already dumbfounded. She thought that even Bai Wawa had fled for his life. Ada and Sister Hongya were truly formidable. But even more formidable was Senior, the master of Ada and Hongya. At this moment Yili's face remained calm as if nothing had happened. He stored Ada and Hongya in the system space and then looked at Xiao Hui, slowly uttering 2 words, "Let's go. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much." Chapter 38. After several days of traveling, Yili and Xiao Hui were finally approaching the outskirts of Anan Base City. At this moment Yili and Xiao Hui were walking on a concrete road with no buildings around. They just needed to continue straight ahead to reach the outskirts of Anan Base City. Haha, killing those zombies was so satisfying. That's right, young Master Yun is a level 5 awakened being. Killing those zombies is a breeze. Absolutely, young Master Yun is amazing. A burst of fawning voices came from behind Yili. But Yili didn't even turn his head. He continued walking forward with Xiao Hui. Young Master Yun, there are people ahead. A teenager said to a handsome and extraordinary young man. This handsome brat was none other than young Master Yun. Young Master Yun looked at Yili and Xiao Hui not far ahead, smiled and thought they were probably going to Anan Base City. Let's go and have a look. This group of teenagers looked to be around 15 or 16 years old, and they all had an air of elegance that indicated their extraordinary background. Naturally, Yili heard their conversation, but he paid no attention. But they were talking about how satisfying it was to kill zombies? After some thought, Yili figured out. In the outskirts of the base city, zombies were usually kept for young genetic warriors to kill, but there would generally be strong protectors by their side. Before long, this group of teenagers was only a few steps away from Yili and Xiao Hui. You stop. Young Master Yun shouted. Senior, someone is telling us to stop, Xiao Hui whispered to Yili. Just ignore them, Yili said. Yili didn't need to think to know why this group of teenagers wanted them to stop. It was nothing more than wanting to show off their superiority. But he didn't have time to deal with these little brats. Seeing that Yili and Xiao Hui ignored his words, young Master Yun instantly became angry. I told you to stop, didn't you hear me? Young Master Yun shouted at Yili and Xiao Hui again. Seeing that Yili and Xiao Hui still showed no intention of stopping, 5 or 6 teenagers hurriedly ran in front of them. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear young Master Yun telling you to stop? One of the teenagers coldly said to Yili and Xiao Hui. Young Master Yun now stood in front of them, staring at Yili and Xiao Hui. Give me an explanation. Young Master Yun stared at Yili. Yili couldn't understand why trouble always seemed to find him for no reason. These little brats really didn't know their place. Hee hee. Yili smiled indifferently. What are you laughing at? Young Master Yun glared at Yili. Yili calmly looked at the so-called young Master Yun and slowly spoke. You think you deserve an explanation from me? Silence, a long silence. These teenagers stood there motionless like statues. They were all prestigious disciples of renowned families in Anan Base City. Since birth, they had been treated like stars and no one dared to speak to them like this. What did you say? Young Master Yun was the first to snap out of his daze, staring at Yili intently. Move aside. You're just a small ordinary awakened being, Yili said with some disinterest. These words were like needles. A small ordinary awakened being? He was a level 5 awakened being, just a step away from becoming an advanced awakened being. Fine, fine, fine. Young Master Yun repeated the word fine 3 times, indicating his anger at that moment. Then let me, this small ordinary awakened being, show you what regret feels like. Young Master Yun said coldly. Are you serious? Yi Li asked indifferently, his arms folded. Of course I'm serious. Young Master Yun stared at Yi Li firmly. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 39. Young Master Yun, knock this brat down and show him how formidable you are. Brat, how dare you challenge young Master Yun? He can knock you out with a single punch. Wise enough, Xiao Hui stepped aside, her inner emotions unaffected. On the contrary, she felt a bit amused. She knew very well that this brat called young Master Yun was no match for Yi Li. Suddenly young Master Yun raised his fist and fiercely struck towards Yi Li. The group of youngsters watched Yi Li with pity because they knew the consequences of offending young Master Yun. Yi Li stood motionless as if he hadn't even seen the punch coming. Young Master Yun smiled triumphantly, thinking that Yi Li was frightened out of his senses. When the punch was inches away from Yi Li suddenly opened his palm and grabbed young Master Yun's fist. Young Master Yun felt Yi Li's hand like steel, and in that instant he felt excruciating pain. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yi Li really didn't want to bother with these brats, but they insisted on provoking him. What could he do? With a casual flick, he sent young Master Yun flying several meters away, then continued walking forward without looking back. Xiao Hui quickly followed suit. Wait for me, senior. Xiao Hui blinked her eyes. It was over so quickly that she hadn't fully reacted yet. The group of youngsters hurriedly helped young Master Yun up. Young Master Yun, are you okay? Young Master Yun was a bit stunned. Was he instantly defeated? In other words, that person was an advanced awakened being? The other youngsters also couldn't believe it. They wore bitter smiles on their faces. They had originally thought Yi Li was a bronze-level player, but they hadn't expected him to be a king-level player. Young Master Yun felt a bitter taste in his mouth, and immediately made a decision that none of the other youngsters had anticipated. He started running, apparently intending to catch up with Yi Li and Xiao Hui. This sudden dash frightened the other youngsters. They thought young Master Yun was going to confront Yi Li recklessly. They quickly followed suit and ran after them. Xiao Hui heard the sound of footsteps running and turned her head. Senior, they're catching up. Yi Li also heard the sound of running, which surprised him. He hadn't expected these youngsters to dare to catch up with him. Young Master Yun ran up to Yi Li, panting, and looked at him, saying, I was too rude earlier. I hope you don't mind. If possible, I would like to be friends with you, young Master Yun continued. Yi Li didn't expect young Master Yun to say such words, which made him regard young Master Yun in a different light. He had thought young Master Yun was just a spoiled brat. The group of youngsters was dumbfounded upon hearing young Master Yun's words. Thankfully, young Master Yun didn't come to fight Yi Li, or else the consequences would have been unimaginable. Although Yi Li had some respect for young Master Yun now, it didn't mean he wanted to be friends with him. I'm not interested in being friends with you, Yi Li said slowly. Young Master Yun felt a bit embarrassed after hearing that. However, he had been deeply impressed by Yi Li's demeanor just now, even though he didn't understand why he suddenly admired Yi Li so much. As he lay on the ground, he watched Yi Li walking away. In that instant, he felt as if a demon-slaying deity had descended from the heavens. My name is Yun Feng. You must be heading to Anan Bay City, right? I can take you there, Yun Feng said cautiously, looking at Yi Li. The group of youngsters became even more dumbfounded. Why did young Master Yun seem to be treating Yi Li like an idol? Weren't they supposed to be enemies? Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. Chapter 40. After some consideration, Yi Li thought that since he was unfamiliar with Anan Bay City, it would be good to have someone show him the way. All right, Yi Li nodded. A look of joy instantly appeared on Yun Feng's face, and he had completely forgotten what had just happened. Even Yi Li was somewhat surprised by this scene. He wondered if Yun Feng might be gay and had fallen in love with him at first sight? But then Yi Li shook his head, thinking how could he have such a twisted thought. Soon after, Yun Feng activated the guiding mode. Before long, they arrived at the outskirts of Anan Bay City. The outer city was a defensive fortification with many laser cannons mounted on the walls, and numerous soldiers guarding them, all equipped with powerful laser guns. Young Master Yun, you're back. How did it go this time? A man wearing a second lieutenant rank military uniform on the city wall asked young Master Yun. It went fine. Let us in first, Yun Feng said to the second lieutenant on the wall. All right, young Master Yun, the second lieutenant nodded. With that, a small door next to the main city gate opened. Let's go in, Yun Feng said to Yi Li. Upon hearing this, Yi Li and Xiao Hui entered through the small door. The outer city was just a defensive fortification, still some distance from the main city. But inside the outer city there were vehicles. Clearly this group of young people had come by car. They got into their own cars and Yi Li and Xiao Hui got into Yun Feng's car, heading towards the main city. What should I call you? Yun Feng suddenly asked. Just call me Yi Li. Yi Li replied slowly. He didn't want Yun Feng to call him senior or brother Yi, as it would make him feel too familiar with Yun Feng. Before long Yi Li caught sight of the main city of Annan Base City. The appearance of the city looked similar to other Chinese cities, except its defense was much stronger. After all, in this parallel world both technology and everything else surpassed the Earth by far. Upon entering the inner city of Annan Base City, it appeared to be inhabited mostly by ordinary people, living a life similar to that in China. There were occasional military patrols with soldiers all carrying laser guns. These soldiers were just ordinary people, as becoming an awakened being required a minimum of D-class genes. Undoubtedly, Annan Base City was very large, really enormous. The buildings were also towering, such that if this were on Earth, it would undoubtedly be the first city. Yi Li, do you have any place to go? Yun Feng asked. No, Yi Li said. Well, why don't you go to my place first? Yun Feng continued. Yi Li pondered for a few seconds and then said, all right. Yun Feng drove the car and headed towards a certain location. The car arrived at a mansion and there were many such mansions. One would have to walk around personally to truly understand how large they were. Yun Feng got out of the car and turned his face towards a screen at the entrance gate. After a successful face recognition, the gate opened automatically. The car continued driving inside, and before long, they finally arrived in front of a building that was difficult to describe. If one had to describe it, the only way would be to call it a palace. Young master, you're back, a servant said to Yun Feng. Congratulations, host, for obtaining a random lottery draw. Surprises always came unexpectedly. The roulette in his mind started spinning and a few seconds later the pointer stopped. Congratulations, host, for obtaining healing art. Healing art can treat difficult and miscellaneous ailments. Yi Li didn't expect to acquire a skill. It was an auxiliary skill, but he felt it was not very useful. However, it was better than nothing, so Yi Li took the healing art. Healing art automatically reaches its maximum level. There was no change in Yi Li's expression because he felt that the healing art was useless to him. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you very much. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.